Warning: Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
In this crooked game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power. Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as hitting the other link and joining the Telegram group so that we can circumvent the shadow banning that PukeTube has been doing with the new black media. With that being said, family, I hope everybody's been having a beautiful Sunday. I've been having a beautiful Sunday. It's been a good Sunday, even though it's been a long Sunday. It's been a good Sunday. So I hope you all has had a good Sunday. Now, we got a few things to talk about here today, family. We got a few things to talk about here today. We're going to be talking about the fact that, you got a new mayor out there in New York. We gotta listen to what the new mayor in New York has to say. We got to hear what he has to say, ladies and gentlemen, in his swearing in of New York. We're going to go over that. We're also going to go over some situations that's happening down in Florida with Byron Donalds, Mr. I don't believe in reparations because my family wouldn't get it, and his campaign going on for his gubernatorial run. And then we're going to talk about what's going on over there in Venezuela, because there's a lot of talk going on about Venezuela, and a lot of folks trying to put us in it, and we know for damn sure at the end of the day, Venezuela. But people are going around trying to make it our problem. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to discuss why we're staying far, far away from that conversation. That has nothing to do with us. If you're not out here representing foundational Black Americans, that has nothing to do with us. It is that time again where both parties are trying to make sure that the other party looks worse than the other. It's that time again when they're coming to our neighborhoods and trying to convince us that we need to put them into office in order to do for everyone else. It is that time again, ladies and gentlemen. And because it's that time again, we need to have this conversation early to make sure everybody understands. And I'm not talking about people who are here, but people who may catch this in the replay sometime later on, people who may believe that their politicians really work for them, people who really sits in the back of the classroom and put cotton balls in their ears and put on their little helmets and ride the yellow bus home. We need to make sure them folks understand why we are who we are, what we're doing, and why every time it's going to be the same damn thing. Until you do right by me, nigga, both parties can kiss our asses. Hell, all parties can kiss our asses. And let's be very clear about that. Now, before we get into it, let me go ahead and scroll up and give the B1 salutes. All righty. Oh, wow. Let me give a B1 salute and shalom to our good brother Reparations Nation, Troy, Black RU, our sister Aquarius Minded. Want to make sure. Okay. Yeah. Our sister Bad 72. Lachey Davis in the building. Much love to you, sister. Our brother Zavon Scott is in the building. Much love to you. Our sister Sybil is in the building. Trey is in the building. Mr. Messiah, much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Our sister Andrea Jones is in the building. Our good brother A.O. is in the building. Want to make sure I give our good family the salutes. C. Phillips is in the building. Much love to you. Our good brother Reef is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Tasting Teas with Tony is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Our brother Black Truth United, a big salute and shout out to you. Thank you for being here, my good brother. Our sister Astarte Jones is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Melrose Radio is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as Willie McKinley in the building. Much love to you. Our sister Patricia A. Jones is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Make sure we get everybody. Our good brother Antithesis is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, good family. As well as our good sister Angelic is in the building. Shalom and B1 salute to you. Thank you for being here, family, as well as our sister Sexy Red is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for your super sticker. Your contribution is blessed tenfold and I appreciate it. As always, my good sister, thank you. Let's make sure we got everybody here. Black Rose is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Affectionate Earth is in the building. Our sister Donna C is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Let's make sure. Our sister Anita Harrell is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Let's make sure. You is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Our brother John Son is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Only Us is in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here because most like the theme of today is your name, good sir. It's Only Us. And that's all we're going to be worrying about. Only Us. But let's continue. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Want to make sure, and okay, and that's everybody. So, and everybody who's going to catch this in the replay, gang, much love to you. Thank you for being here. And everybody who are not in the chat, much love to you. Thank you for being here as well. Now, family, we got to start with the situation, the Madami situation. We're going to listen to his little swearing in speech, and we're going to talk about it, because he mentioned a lot of people in his swearing in speech. He mentioned a lot of people. He mentioned a lot of groups. He mentioned a lot of ethnicities, but I noticed that he didn't mention one specific group in the very same way he didn't mention that specific group when he won and he did his speech. So we're going to talk about that. Shout out to we the people in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Let's start off. Give me 1 second, family. 1 second. Making sure everything's right on my side. Dude, these folks over here, StreamYard did some new stuff. Okay. Let's hope it does not mess nothing up. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get over here with Madami. Let's talk about the nonsense he was doing there. Let me turn on the chat so people can see what's going on there. Oh, yeah. Give me 1 second, family. I see what's going on here. All right. All right. All right. Let's get into it, family. Let's go over here to the Mandami situation. Let's get it in, fam.
My fellow New Yorkers, today begins a new era. I stand before you, moved by the privilege of taking this sacred oath, humbled by the faith that you have placed in me, and honored to serve as either your 111th or 112th mayor of New York City.
Now, Trey, let's not do that. Let's not do that. He is not no African American. Here's another thing. Let me say this too, family, because I've been seeing this a lot as well. There is this notion going around that because we are not claiming African American, we're foundational Black American, that African American belongs to people who come from Africa. Hell no. Throw that shit in the trash can. Let me say that again. Throw that shit in the trash can. And Trey, I know you was kidding, no worries, but I do got to address this. The reason why I got to address this is because I've been hearing it a lot lately, you know? So I want to make sure that people understand that just because foundational Black Americans is stepping away from African American don't mean anybody else can pick up African American. That is a term that has been dead in the water. We are burying that term. That term do not go and cannot go to anybody else. And the reason why I say that is because of the fact that just because we started calling ourselves a commemorative term, which is foundational Black American, people think that they could take on the African American term and then take on all our contributions, everything we did in this country, try to separate what the African American was supposed to be from foundational Black Americans. And we're not having that shit whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to make sure everybody know, and this isn't because my good brother put it in the chat, it's because of the fact that I've heard this several times over and it needs to be addressed. There is no African American. We're putting that into the dirt. We're burying it 6 feet deep. No one can take on that name. I don't give a damn if you come from Africa. Your nationality is whatever your state is in Africa when you come here. Excuse me, your country is in Africa when you come here. So you are Ghanaian American, you are Nigerian American, you are Malian American, you are Somali American. You are not African American. That is a specific term for a specific people, and if we're not using it, nobody uses it. Let's be very clear about that. For all the people who believe they could come here and start calling themselves African American, that is an ethnic term. And that ethnic term is now put in the grave because that ethnic term has now upgraded to foundational Black American. Now that that's been said, shout out to our brother Trey for putting that in the chat. Like I said, brother, we ain't gonna do that. Nah, nigga, we ain't letting them folks do that. Hell no. Because next thing you know, and we already been seeing this happening, people will come over here from Nigeria talking about their ancestors built America. And that's a hell to the no. Ghanaians coming over here talking about they built America. Hell to the no. Hell to the nay, no. God dang it. Oh, my sister, I am so sorry, Miss Niecy. Shout out and shalom and a big B1 salute to our sister Hurricane Niecy in the building. She said, am I chopped liver? Did you forgot to greet me, youngin? My sorries, my apologies to our good sister, my queen mother sister. Thank you for being here. And I apologize from the bottom of my heart because you know damn well I would never intentionally overlook you. Godly, I appreciate your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, my queen sister. Thank you. Dang, I feel horrible for that. Also, let me give a B1 salute to our good brother Snatch Adams in the building. Now, as y'all know, family, this is going to be one hell of a Sunday service because we got some things to talk about. Also, salute to our family Yagua in the building. Much love to you, and thank you. Exactly. Thank you very much, Black. Are you technical issues, technical difficulties? Shout out to Double Dragon for being in the building as well, family. Much love to you. Now, let's get into this man's statement, shall we?
But I do not stand alone. I stand alongside you, the tens of thousands of you gathered here in Lower Manhattan, warmed against the January chill by the resurgent flame of hope. I stand alongside countless more New Yorkers watching from cramped kitchens in Flushing and barbershops in East New York, from cell phones propped against the dashboards of parked taxicabs at LaGuardia, from hospitals in Mott Haven and libraries in El Barrio that have too long known only neglect. I stand alongside construction workers in steel-toed boots and halal cart vendors whose knees ache from working all day. I stand alongside neighbors who carry a plate of food to the elderly couple down the hall, those in a rush who still lift stranger strollers up subway stairs, and every person who makes the choice, day after day, even when it feels impossible, to call our city home. I stand alongside over 1 million New Yorkers who voted for this day nearly 2 months ago. And I stand just as resolutely alongside those who did not. I know there are some who view this administration with distrust or disdain, or who see politics as permanently broken. And while only action can change minds, I promise you this. If you are a New Yorker, I am your mayor.
Now, family, he didn't mention halal workers who stand on their feet all day, and he didn't mention construction workers. Y'all noticing who he did not mention. And all the people that he is claiming that did not vote for him, that he still stands for. He made sure not to mention foundational Black Americans. He's made sure not to put one Black interest in his goddamn speech. He's going to continue to go on and talk about all these non-Americans who came to America. He's going to continue to talk about all of these illegals who came to America. But let's let him continue. Shout out to DJ Black 909 and our good sister, Miss Stacy in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Let's continue.
Regardless of whether we agree, I will protect you, celebrate with you, mourn alongside you, and never, not for a second, hide from you. I thank the labor and movement leaders here today, the activists and the elected officials who will return to fighting for New Yorkers the second this ceremony concludes, and the performers who have gifted us with their talent.
Family. I paused here for a reason. What's up with all these different flags? Is he elected a mayor in America, or is he elected the mayor of India? I'm asking for a friend. I don't see, you saw one American flag and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other different flags up there that makes absolutely no damn sense to me. I'm just saying, this makes no sense to me. You just became a mayor of one of the largest cities in the United States. But yet, you got all these different flags back there. You notice that too, my sister? Yep. This is just irritating already. I ain't even got to the huge part of the irritation, but just seeing that irritates the hell out of me. Shout out to our brother Ach in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Let's continue.
Thank you to Governor Hochul. Thank you as well to Mayor Adams. Dorothy's son.
Family, they booed Mayor Adams, former Mayor Adams. And I don't really care that they booed him because, you know, he shouldn't have been participating in the Biden agenda to begin with. But notice how he got booed by the same people that he was trying to protect. And the second he said, you know, this is getting too much for us. We can't deal with the strain that this is putting on the city of New York. Now he's the bad guy. And he's always been the bad guy when it comes to us. But to those immigrants over there, he's the bad guy. He got booed for it. You know, you can't lie down with the devil and think you won't catch fire. That's all I'm saying. But let's continue.
A son of Brownsville who rose from washing dishes to the highest position in our city for being here as well. He and I have had our share of disagreements, but I will always be touched that he chose me as the mayoral candidate that he would most want to be trapped with on an elevator. Thank you to the two titans who, as an assembly member, I've had the privilege of being represented by in Congress, Nidia Velazquez and our incredible opening speaker, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You have paved the way for this moment. Thank you.
Family, look at all these people. Mayor Adams, he don't look too happy that he got booed. But look at all these folks.
He and I have had our share of disagreements, but I will always be touched that he chose me as the mayoral candidate that he would most want to be trapped with on an elevator. Thank you to the two titans who, as an assembly member, I've had the privilege of being represented by in Congress, Nidia Velazquez and our incredible opening speaker, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Look at this lineup. Look at this lineup of folks. You got Chuck Schumer back there. Alexandria. You got your Letitia James. Why the hell is Bernie Sanders over here? Why is Bernie Sanders in New York? For the hell what? I don't understand why he's there at all. I don't. But he looks happy to be there. He's just happy to be there. You got Governor Holcomb right there. Very interesting lineup you have here. The same woman that said, yeah, all that stuff that he said he was going to do, I'm not going to approve that. No, we're not going to do that. Not at all. But everybody's happy to be there. Anyhow, let's continue. Shout out to Golden Brown in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Let's continue.
You have paved the way for this moment. Thank you to the man whose leadership I seek most to emulate, who I am so grateful to be sworn in by today, Senator Bernie Sanders. Thank you to my teams, from the assembly to the campaign to the transition, and now the team I am so excited to lead from City Hall. Thank you to my parents, Mama and Baba.
Family. This is his father. This is his father out here looking like the villain out of the Moonwalker video. The Moonwalker movie, I mean. Y'all remember where he had on those glasses and he was cracking peanuts? Where the girl was afraid of spiders? That's who this man looks like. But I digress. Let's let him continue.
Praising me, for teaching me how to be in this world and for having brought me to this city. Thank you to my family from Kampala to Delhi. And thank you to my wife, Rama. For being my best friend and for always showing me the beauty in everyday things. And most of all, thank you to the people of New York. A moment like this comes rarely. Seldom do we hold such an opportunity to transform and reinvent. Rarer still is it the people themselves whose hands are the ones upon the levers of change. And yet we know that too often in our past, moments of great possibility have been promptly surrendered to small imagination and smaller ambition. What was promised was never pursued. What could have changed remained the same. For the New Yorkers most eager to see our city remade, the wait has only grown heavier. The wait has only grown longer.
Shout out to our sister, Miss Stacy. Yeah, that was Joe Pesci with his glasses on, looking like a straight up gangster villain. I ain't gonna lie. That was one of my favorite villains of all times, was from the Moonwalker. But also a B1 salute to our sister Cooking with Miss D in the building. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Iron Will in the building, and Punisher as well. Now, family, notice he didn't mention everybody from the lower tier of the city to the top tier of the city, and I ain't hear him mention foundational Black Americans not once. He didn't even have to put foundational on it. He didn't mention Black Americans not once at all. So who do you think he's going to be a mayor for? Who do you think most of his policies are going to be for? Who do you think that he's going to pay more attention to? He couldn't even mention us by name. But when he was running, he was all in the nightclubs dancing to foundational Black American music, dancing with foundational Black Americans. Well, we don't know if they were foundational Black Americans, but with Black Americans, let's just say that, Black people. He used the visual aspect of Blackness in order to boost himself in the polls. But when he gets to his inauguration, there is not one mention of Blackness. He's mentioning beef patties. He's mentioning the halal workers. He's mentioning construction workers. He goes up and talk about the administration that's in office right now, from the governor all the way down. But he did not, and I repeat, did not feel the need to mention Black Americans. I find that quite interesting. Quite interesting indeed. And that time of year is coming around. You know, where people in Congress have to fight for their seats. But I digress. Let's continue.
In writing this address, I have been told that this is the occasion to reset expectations, that I should use this opportunity to encourage the people of New York to ask for little and expect even less. I will do no such thing. The only expectation I seek to reset is that of small expectations. Beginning today, we will govern expansively and audaciously. We may not always succeed, but never will we be accused of lacking the courage to try. To those who insist that the era of big government is over, hear me when I say this. No longer will City Hall hesitate to use its power.
Hey, this is a phenomenal statement right here. Them booing Eric Adams is them booing FBAs. Like or hate Adams. I feel they did that on purpose. And brother, that is a powerful, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, Adam, he could be a proxy for us. You're absolutely correct there. And in the very same way that they boo most people who stand up for foundational Black Americans. The same way they don't like most people who stand up for foundational Black Americans. Not to say Eric Adams does, but just the mere fact that this man turned his back on the program that they were running, it makes a lot of sense. Because foundational Black Americans was never on that damn program. So shout out to you for that. That one right there, that was a good one. Thank you very much. Let's continue.
To improve New Yorkers' lives. For too long, we have turned to the private sector for greatness while accepting mediocrity from those who serve the public. I cannot blame anyone who has come to question the role of government, whose faith in democracy has been eroded by decades of apathy. We will restore that trust by walking a different path, one where government is no longer solely the final recourse for those struggling, one where excellence is no longer the exception. We expect greatness from the cooks wielding 1,000 spices, from those who stride out onto our Broadway stages, and from our starting point guard at Madison Square Garden. Let us demand the same from those who work in government. In a city where the mere names of our streets are associated with the innovation of the industries that call them home, we will make the word City Hall synonymous with both resolve and results. As we embark upon this work, let us advance a new question, a new answer to the question asked of every generation. Who does New York belong to? For much of our history, the response from City Hall has been simple. It belongs only to the wealthy and well-connected, those who never strain to capture the attention of those in power. Working people have reckoned with the consequences. Crowded classrooms and public housing developments where the elevators sit out of orders. Roads littered with potholes and buses that arrive half an hour late, if at all. Wages that do not rise and corporations that rip off consumers and employees alike. And still, there have been brief, fleeting moments where the equation changed. 12 years ago, Bill de Blasio stood where I stand now, as he promised to put an end to economic and social inequalities that divided our city into two. In 1990, David Dinkins swore the same oath I swore today, vowing to celebrate the gorgeous mosaic that is New York, where every one of us is deserving of a decent life. And nearly 6 decades before him, Fiorella LaGuardia took office with the goal of building a city that was far greater and more beautiful for the hungry and the poor. Some of these mayors achieved.
I'm just giddy. I'm sorry. I'm laughing over here because everybody he's mentioning has opened the door for more and more immigration in the city of New York. I bull stuff you not. And this is why it's hilarious that he's mentioning these people, because we already know what these people have done to New York and what they've done for foundational Black Americans, which is absolutely freaking nothing. But I digress. Let me give a B1 salute to our good brother Cyberdyne 100. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. And let me also give a B1 salute to our good brother Crew Reality in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as Ruthless Millennium in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Let's continue.
More success than others, but they were unified by a shared belief that New York could belong to more than just a privileged few. It could belong to those who operate our subways and rake our parks, those who feed us biryani and beef patties, picanha and pastrami on rye. And they know that this belief could be made true if only government dared to work hardest for those who work hardest.
Notice how he mentioned immigrant gourmet dishes. I ain't hear nothing about no soul food. I didn't hear anything about soul food in the place where soul built. Yeah. And these folks wonder why Black Americans ain't on the bandwagon. And these folks wonder why foundational Black Americans have stepped away from the plantation. But continue. Shout out to Hebrew Native in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here.
Over the years to come, my administration will resurrect that legacy. City Hall will deliver an agenda of safety, affordability, and abundance, where government looks and lives like the people it represents, never flinches in the fight against corporate greed, and refuses to cower before challenges that others have deemed too complicated. In so doing, we will provide our own answer to that age-old question. Who does New York belong to?
New York belongs to the people that built New York. That's who it belongs to. It doesn't belong to no immigrants just because they put some plaque on the goddamn Statue of Liberty years after the goddamn Statue of Liberty was already gifted to us for freeing the slaves, for abolishing slavery. New York belongs to the people that built it, brick by brick. Blood, sweat, and tears in the land. The people who is buried, the most people buried in the city of New York in mass graves. Foundational Black Americans. But go off.
Well, my friends, we can look to Madiba and the South African Freedom Charter. New York belongs to all who live in it.
Wrong. Notice how he's talking about a South African charter. That ain't got nothing to do with foundational Black Americans. Damn South Africa. Damn what they charter states. New York don't belong to everybody who goes to it. That's crazy talk. That is crazy talk. And since somebody put it in the chat, you know what we gotta play.
Send in the clowns.
This is your new mayor, New York. This is the new mayor. Oh, I can't wait 6 months from now when I do a recap on how New York has been since he got into office. Let's continue.
Together, we will tell a new story of our city. This will not be a tale of one city governed only by the 1%, nor will it be a tale of two cities, the rich versus the poor. It will be a tale of 8.5 million cities, each of them a New Yorker with hopes and fears, each a universe, each of them woven together. The authors of this story will speak Pashto and Mandarin, Yiddish and Creole. They will pray in mosques, at shul, at church, at gurudwaras and mandirs and temples. And many will not pray at all. They will be Russian Jewish immigrants in Brighton Beach, Italians in Rossville, and Irish families in Woodhaven, many of whom came here with nothing but a dream of a better life, a dream which has withered away. They will be young people in cramped Marble Hill apartments where the walls shake.
If the dream of a better life withered away, maybe they should wither away with it. Am I wrong for saying that? People who came here with a dream of a better life, and that is withered away. Well, that should have given them the eye and hindsight to say, well, maybe I should wither away too. Maybe I should go somewhere else and look for a better life. Looking for a better life. The dream that's built on the foundational Black American nightmare. They see America, saw what we went through, and said, maybe I should go there for a better life. These people, man, these people. Let's continue.
When the subway passes. They will be Black homeowners in St. Albans, whose homes represent a physical testament to triumph over decades of lesser paid labor and redlining. They will be Palestinian New Yorkers in Bay Ridge, who will no longer have to contend with a politics that speaks of universalism and then makes them the exception. Few of these 8.5 million will fit into neat and easy boxes. Some will be voters from Hillside Avenue or Fordham Road who supported President Trump a year before they voted for me, tired of being failed by their party's establishment. The majority will not use the language that we often expect from those who wield influence. I welcome the change. For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty. Many of these people have been betrayed by the established order. But in our administration, their needs will be met. Their hopes and dreams and interests will be reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it. Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the two we all share: New Yorkers.
All these folks, foreigner, 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 foreigner. You don't see no Black Americans in the crowd. Ain't that interesting, family? Like our sister said, he's up there declaring war on us. He's saying this like it's so damn normal to just say, well, you know, I'm opening the floodgates to everybody except foundational Black Americans. You mentioned every goddamn person, every other group. Interesting.
And it will be New Yorkers who reform a long broken property tax system. New Yorkers who will create a new Department of Community Safety that will tackle the mental health crisis and let the police focus on the job they signed up to do. New Yorkers who will take on the bad landlords who mistreat their tenants and free small business owners from the shackles of bloated bureaucracy. And I am proud to be one of those New Yorkers. When we won the primary last June, there were many who said these aspirations and those who held them had come out of nowhere. Yet one man's nowhere is another man's somewhere. This movement came out of 8.5 million somewheres. Taxi cab depots and Amazon warehouses, DSA meetings and curbside domino games, The powers that be had looked away from these places for quite some time if they'd known about them at all. So they dismissed them as nowhere. But in our city, where every corner of these 5 boroughs holds power, there is no nowhere and there is no one. There is only New York and there are only New Yorkers. 8.5 million New Yorkers will speak this new era into existence. It will be loud. It will be different. It will feel like the New York we love. No matter how long you have called this city home, that love has shaped your life. I know that it has shaped mine. This is the city where I set land speed records on my Razor scooter at the age of 12. Quickest 4 blocks of my life. The city where I ate pow.
Primo, shout out to you and thank you for being here. We're definitely going to talk about that as well. I'm actually going to play a clip of a goddamn tap dancer bootlick sitting beside him talking about little black boys. We're going to have that conversation too. Thank you for that comment. Let's continue.
Powdered donuts at halftimes during AYSO soccer games and realized I probably was not going to be going pro. The city where I devoured 2 big slices at Coronet's Pizza, played cricket with my friends.
They thought they were slick showing that damn tether sitting over there clapping like a goddamn buffoon.
Quickest 4 blocks of my life. The city where I ate powdered donuts at halftimes during AYSO soccer games and realized I probably was not going to be going pro. The city where I devoured.
Notice how they made sure to get a shot of this goddamn. You can tell that dude ain't one of us. I don't even know what. Put it in the chat. Where is this tether from? Let me know. This tether down here too. Let me know.
2 big slices at Coronet's Pizza, played cricket with my friends at Ferry Point Park, and took the 1 train to the BX10 only to still show up late to Bronx Science. The city where I have gone on hunger strike just outside these gates. Sat claustrophobic on a stalled N train just after Atlantic Avenue and waited in quiet terror for my father to emerge from 26 Federal Plaza. The city where I took a beautiful woman named Rama to McCarran Park on our first date and swore a different oath to become an American citizen on Pearl Street. To live in New York, to love New York, is to know that we are the stewards of something without equal in our world. Where else can you hear the sound of the steel pan, savor the smell of sancocho, and pay $9 for coffee on the same block? Where else could a Muslim kid like me grow up eating bagels and lox every Sunday? That love will be our guide as we pursue our agenda.
I'm sorry, family. I don't know why this thing keep muting my microphone, but god dang it, he's asking where the hell can he eat bagels? I would say he could eat bagels in India. You know, where he came from. Just saying. Exactly. Listen to his talking points. His talking points is hostile to Native foundational Black Americans. Really, it's hostile to any American. But let's let him continue.
Here, where the language of the New Deal was born, we will return the vast resources of this city to the workers who call it home. Not only will we make it possible for every New Yorker to afford.
Oh, no, he didn't mention Uganda, family, because that'd have been too close to mentioning Black. The closest thing he wanted to mention that was close to Blackness was beef patties. And that's just because, you know, but saying Uganda, that's basically mentioning a Black country. Now, I know for a certain why he didn't mention Uganda. It's the same reason why he didn't want to mention foundational Black Americans. Let's let him continue.
The life they love once again. We will overcome the isolation that too many feel and connect the people of this city to one another. The cost of childcare will no longer discourage young adults from starting a family, because we will deliver universal childcare for the many by taxing the wealthiest few. Those in rent-stabilized homes.
Now, Ayo, I gotta ask, even if he wrote Kamala's speech, do you think she would have performed it well? Or would she would have performed it with a drunken slur? I'm just asking. I want a little bit more feedback on that. Let's continue.
Homes will no longer dread the latest rent hike because we will freeze the rent. Getting on a bus without...
You're going to freeze the rent for who? You're going to freeze the rent for whom? You're not going to be able to freeze the rent for all New Yorkers. And you're not going to be able to freeze the rent really for a long period of time because that's private business. Now, I can see if you're saying, hey, we're going to get BlackRock to freeze the rent, but you're not going to be able to go into court and convince the courts to force a rent freeze. You're not going to be able to do that because that's private business. Now, it was different when the freaking vid came around because that was a national emergency. There's no national emergency in New York that'll lead you to be able to go to court and freeze people's rents. So that means somebody's going to have to pay for whatever quote unquote freeze that you implement, because those landlords still have to be paid. In the same way with COVID, even though they froze rent, they did what? Rental assistance. They was paying the landlords. So if you freeze rent, guess what's going to happen? People in New York is going to have to pay the people who didn't have their rent freezed. They're going to have to pay their rent, and their tax money is going to be going to pay other people's rent. And the other people, I'm so sure it's going to be illegals. But let's continue.
Not worrying about a fare hike or whether you'll be able to get to your destination on time will no longer be deemed a small miracle because we will make those buses fast and free. These policies are not simply about the costs we make free, but the lives we fill with freedom. For too long in our city, freedom has belonged only to those who can afford to buy it. Our city hall will change that. These promises carried our movement to City Hall, and they will carry us from the rallying cries of a campaign to the realities of a new era in politics. 2 Sundays ago.
Shout out to Miss Stacy for this. This is a perfect analogy. He reminds me of the high school elected class president. No more homework. But he don't have the power to say no more homework. This is perfect. Thank you very much.
As snow softly fell, I spent 12 hours at the Museum of the Moving Image in Astoria, listening to New Yorkers from every borough as they told me about the city that is theirs. We discussed construction hours on the Van Wyck Expressway and EBT eligibility, affordable housing for artists and ICE raids. I spoke to a man named TJ who said that one day a few years ago, his heart broke as he realized that he would never get ahead here, no matter how hard he worked. I spoke to a Pakistani auntie named Samina, who told me that this movement had fostered something too rare, softness in people's hearts. As she said to me in Urdu, "Logo ke dil badal gaye hain." 142 New Yorkers out of 8.5 million. And yet, if anything united each person sitting across from me, it was the shared recognition that this moment demands a new politics and a new approach to power. We will deliver nothing less as we work each day to make this city belong to more of its people than it did the day before. Here is what I want you to expect from the administration that this morning moved into the building behind me. We will transform the culture of City Hall from one of no to one of how. We will answer to all New Yorkers, not to any billionaire or oligarch who thinks they can buy our democracy. We will govern without shame and insecurity, making no apology for what we believe. I was elected as a democratic socialist, and I will govern as a democratic socialist.
Let's see how far you can govern when you got your Kathy Hochul breathing down your neck saying you can govern in that way. Okay, let's let them continue. And shout out to our sister, Miss Stacy. No, you was not lying. You are absolutely correct. And shout out to our sister, Andrea Jones. He's hustling those immigrants and they don't even know it. Yeah, but we do. And that's why we're always ahead of the curve. Let's continue.
I will not abandon my principles for fear of being deemed radical. As the great senator from Vermont once said, what's radical is a system which gives so much to so few and denies so many people the basic necessities of life.
Trey said he ain't mad that, god dang it, he's leaving foundational Black Americans out. He's mad that the speech is 30 minutes long. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel you. He could have summed this speech up in 5 minutes. Hey, how y'all doing? We're declaring war on foundational Black Americans. We're declaring war on America. We're declaring war on anybody who claims to be American. This is war. And walked away. I agree with you 100%. It did not need to be 30 minutes long. But you know what happens when you got clowns. You got to watch the circus.
Send in the clowns.
We will strive each day to ensure that no New Yorker is priced out of any one of those basic necessities. And throughout it all, we will, in the words of Jason Terrence Phillips, better known as Jadakiss or Jay to the Moi, be out.
Hey, Jada, did you give him permission to drop your government name like that? I didn't even know Jadakiss's government name because I don't go looking for stuff like that, to be honest with you. But I didn't know his name. You okay with this man out here dropping your government, Jada? I'm just asking. I would have to make a phone call. Hey, man, I don't know you. Don't be bringing up my name. Don't be calling me by my first name. Hell's wrong with you? But I digress. Let's continue.
Side. Because this is a government of New York, by New York, and for New York.
This is a government of New York, by New York, and for New York. No, it's a government of a person who is an Indian who was born and raised in Uganda. A government for immigrants who are born and raised anywhere but America. And even those who are born in America. It has nothing to do by, because y'all didn't build nothing there in New York. New York is quite literally built off the back of slaves. These are the people that are allowed to come over here and run for office. And this is why you have so many people such as myself who's for the bill that says if you have any allegiances anywhere else, if you hold dual citizenship anywhere else, that you cannot run for office. This is why they were supposed to come over here and take the goddamn test and pledge their allegiance to the United States of America. Because otherwise, you get people like this who gets here and then become anti-American, and more specifically, anti-foundational Black American. Shalom to our good sister, Shamika Gray, in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. It's the forehead for you. And a B1 salute to our sister, Bad72. Thank you for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good sister. Let's let them continue. We almost through it, family. Only 4 more minutes.
Before I end, I want to ask all of you, if you are able, whether you are here today or anywhere watching, to stand with me. I ask you to stand with us now and every day that follows. City Hall will not be able to deliver on our own. And while we will encourage New Yorkers to demand more from those with the great privilege of serving them, we will encourage you to demand more of yourselves as well. The movement we began over a year ago did not end with our election.
Family, did that sound like That's not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Did this man just break off some JFK rhetoric and told the people that he's been telling for all this damn time that he was going to get shit done, to not expect us to get it done? Oh, our city hall can't get everything done, but I urge you to ask more of the people that represent you, but not just for that, but ask more of yourselves. This man went full Kennedy. Ha! And these folks really believe in him. Oh, it's laughable. Let's continue.
Will not end this afternoon. It lives on with every battle we will fight together. Every blizzard and flood we withstand together. Every moment of fiscal challenge we overcome with ambition, not austerity, together. Every way we pursue change in working people's interests rather than at their expense, together. No longer will we treat victory as an invitation to turn off the news. From today onwards, we will understand victory very simply. Something with the power to transform lives, and something that demands effort from each of us every single day. What we achieve together will reach across the 5 boroughs, and it will resonate far beyond. There are many who will be watching. They want to know if the left can govern. They want to know if the struggles that afflict them can be solved.
We already know for the past 60 damn years that we was voting for the left that they cannot govern. Or at least they don't govern for us. See, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to play this here. And that's why we're going to get into the Venezuelan situation, because the Democrats have no problem speaking up for everyone else. But when it comes down to foundational Black Americans, they're silent. They're quiet. They keep their mouth stapled shut. But then want to point the finger at the goddamn Republican and say how demonic they are, how demonic Trump is. And we're not having that any further. And this is why they're going to continue to lose. In every place where there isn't a Democrat machine, you're going to lose. Because you got people like Mundani who like to omit foundational Black American contribution, who like to omit foundational Black Americans. Shout out to Factavius Prime. How dare you criticize a new tether Jesus? Hey, he ain't my Jesus. He ain't my Jesus. he can go and do whatever the hell he wants, but he gonna get this everlasting work, in the words of our good sister, Vicky Dillard. But let's continue.
They want to know if it is right to hope again. So standing together with the wind of purpose at our backs, we will do something that New Yorkers do better than anyone else. We will set an example for the world. If what Sinatra said is true, let us prove that anyone can make it in New York and anywhere else too. Let us prove that when a city belongs to the people, there is no need too small to be met, no person too sick to be made healthy, no one too alone to feel like New York is their home. The work continues. The work endures. The work, my friends, has only just begun. Thank you.
All right, we're done. We got through it, family. We got through it. And how many times did we hear foundational Black Americans mentioned? I'm holding my ear because I'm just trying to hear if there was any mention of us. It wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. And these people are out here fawning over this man as if, God dang it, we're supposed to be so proud and happy. Zero mentions of us. Consistently mentioned others, consistently made it a point to make sure that people understood that he was declaring war on Americanism, declaring war on foundational Black Americans. And you got these idiots out here who are so willing to fawn over the same person who didn't even mention him by name. A B1 salute to our sister Sean C in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Christopher Ellis is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, my good brother. Let's let this man talk. Shout out Ali Alex as well. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Let's continue.
I'm going to say something to so many young people who are out there. But I'm going to say it to one person who's waited 49 years to hear it. Little black boy, you were worth it. And you always were.
Notice, you got this coon up here with this black skin talking directly to little black boys. However, you did not hear, not once, not goddamn once, Mundami mention little black boys. He didn't mention little black girls. He didn't mention black people. Shout out to our good brother Christopher Ellis. Thank you for your Cashapp donation, my good brother. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Let's let him continue.
And without any titles, you were enough. You were always enough. And you deserve to accept love, and you deserve to be protected. And I'm honored to be here to help create a city that's worthy of that for you. And I'm so proud of you.
Notice every time the Democrats put a black man in front of you, they are crying. They are sitting there acting fugazi. They are very sensitive. They are goddamn soft in the paint. They're androgynous. They don't want a black man to be a man, and they keep making sure that you see a black man crying like a straight up bitch rather than standing up for the people in which he belongs to. If he even belongs to our people. And you're enough without any title, without anything. While Mindani is sitting behind him, watching all of this, and then he gets up there and not mention the little black boy that you got up there crying over, talking about making it better for them. This is stupidity at its finest. This is idiocracy at its finest. This is quite literally bootlicking, tap dancing at its finest. And they wonder why we're walking away. And they wonder why in the hell we're deciding to sit these things out. You got demons on both sides, and y'all want us to choose a demon that won't even address us by name. That's just crazy. A B1 salute and shalom to our sister Ali Alice. Thank you for becoming a member. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution, and I hope you enjoy yourself on this side of the field. Now, let's continue. Guess, biatch boy. This is some bitch nigga shit, and I know I've been doing a lot of cursing today, but this is one of those broadcast family where I'm just going to let that fly because god dang it, this is bitch nigga shit. This is tap dancing, bootlicking, bitch nigga shit. You get up there and stand up and cry because you got somebody elected that couldn't even mention you or your people by name. And people are supposed to be okay with it. Okay, let's let them continue.
So just hold on. We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. I'm so proud of you. As we head into a new year, a new term, I want to ask all of you to take an oath with me. My neighbors, I know in Brazil, adopted this motto. that I've tried to embody. I did hear it from Total Lander, but I give him credit. That no one let go of anyone's hands, because if we're all connected, we can't lose anyone. So we hold on to the hand of our neighbor and we reach out with our other hand to grasp someone who may fall through the cracks, and we bring them along. I want everyone, if they're comfortable, take a hand of the person next to you or the arm and just repeat after me. We can all be the voice of the people. I know what's ahead, but I won't lose hold. And I won't lose hope. Anything can happen, so anything can happen. And as we march forward, no one let go of anyone's hands. Peace.
These are the type of folks they putting in front of you to make you think that goddamn Black Americans are approving of this dude, and we are not. Yes, my sister, he was serious. He was serious. Everybody hold each other's hand, and if nobody lets go, then nobody is left behind. Dude, we've been left behind. That's how I know you are not foundational Black American. Because you're quite literally negating the fact that our hands was let go of centuries ago. Better yet, no one ever held our hand. They just said, pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Even though our boots was stolen from us. Family, this is the energy that I'm looking for, and I'm glad these two sisters had something to say about it. Now, I know this sister right here ain't FBA. I don't know about her. I know she's probably a mix. However, what they have to say, quite relevant. Let's continue.
Will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
So removing individualism, let's take a look at Cuba and Venezuela and see how that worked out for them.
Newsflash, it did not.
It did not. And if we can just focus on the fact that the breaking news this morning while we were sleeping, President Trump was able to capture the president of Venezuela, a big part of the reason why the country is the way it is. And the people of Venezuela are cheering. They're happy about this.
Literally parading in the streets.
Come celebrate with us. We love everybody because you, America, has loved us so much. So much. Thank you, America.
And you guys want to bring that here. We've seen over and over examples of it failing.
I think that Donald Trump should capture Mamdani next.
Oh my God, yes. Send help.
Send help to New York, Trump. Send help to New York, but don't think that that's going to happen because, you know, they were being all buddy bromancing all up in the Oval Office. I don't think Donald Trump gives a damn, to be honest with you. However, we got to move on to Florida. We got to talk about your boy Byron Donalds, ladies and gentlemen, because good old Byron Donalds is getting his nigga wake-up call. Mr. I don't want to vote for reparations because my parents wouldn't get it. My family wouldn't get it. We wouldn't qualify. We got to talk about that man because there is somebody out there running against him by the name of James Fishburne. And James Fishburne has been out here really going hard in the paint when it comes to Byron Donalds. And we got to talk about it. Shout out to our good brother Bernice Brash in the building. Let's continue. Let's get over here, family. Hold up. Let me pull it up here.
My name is James Fishback, and I'm running to succeed Ron DeSantis as Florida's next Republican governor. I'm running for Florida governor so I can make life more affordable for you and your family, easier to afford groceries, to buy a home, to raise a family, and when it's all said and done, to retire with dignity. I'll do that by stopping the H-1B scam so our workers, especially our college grads, can get jobs again. I'll tell Blackstone, Airbnb, and foreign investors that no, in Florida, you can't buy our homes because our homes are for families. And I'll stop the construction of any AI data center that threatens to raise our electricity bills or poison our water supply. And I'll completely and totally eliminate property taxes for every Florida resident because in America, you don't rent your home from the government. You own it, free and clear. Nowadays, not all Republicans are the same. If a Republican politician supports the H-1B scam that fires our workers, he can't be our next governor. If he goes out and supports the building of AI data centers that threaten our electric bills and our water supply, he can't be our next governor. And if he goes to Congress and does nothing for us, but makes millions of dollars trading stocks for himself, he can't be our next governor. Congressman Byron Donalds can't be our next governor because he won't fight for Florida like Ron DeSantis has. I will. I'll fight to preserve Governor DeSantis' wins by keeping Florida free from DEI, radical transgenderism, Soros-backed prosecutors, child predators, voter fraud, and the millions of illegals that invaded our country on Kamala Harris's watch. I'll do that because unlike Byron Donalds, I'm not a politician. I'm an investor and a businessman. I stood up to Wall Street. I sued the Federal Reserve, and I filed a landmark brief with the Supreme Court defending President Trump's right to fire corrupt federal officials. I started Incubate Debate, a free high school debate league for thousands of kids across Florida so they could learn how to debate, discuss, and grow as Americans. I love our state. I am a fourth-generation Floridian. My great-grandfather fought in World War I and then owned a small hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach. My grandfather fought in World War II and ran 750 head of cattle in Okeechobee. My father proudly drove the city bus in Broward County, where I was born and raised. I went to Florida public schools from kindergarten to graduation. Even though I grew up in South Florida, I now call the Panhandle home. I'm an unapologetic Christian who believes that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And I'm a proud American who will never apologize for our history. In the coming months, I'm going to meet as many Florida voters as I can, where they live, work, and pray. I'll visit all 67 counties because Florida's next governor has to be someone you can see, talk to, and even debate with. I look forward to seeing you soon. My name is James Fishback, and I approve this message because Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and we will never let them steal it from us.
Now, Byron Donalds thought that he was just going to go out there and win that governorship, and it wasn't going to be any pushback. And the cold part about it is it's pushback from his own damn party. This is another Republican. Stomp down Republican. Ready to go. But Byron don't understand the rules of engagement here in America because he is not American. You're Panamanian and Jamaican. You thought that just disrespecting foundational Black Americans was going to get you put in the office. And that's not how this works. Shout out to our brother Christopher Ellis. He said, I would love to help Donald, but I don't think my people would benefit from that. Here's another good comment here too. Shout out to Azure Nimble Nimbus. Thank you for being here, family. Much love to you. Fishback, he's definitely a fishy smelling back. And I'm going to agree with you. Don't think that I'm endorsing Fishback at all. No. I will not endorse Fishback because I heard what he said, and we're going to talk about that as well. But let's continue because I want to set the scene. You know, I don't just like to go in the room and bang it out. I like to wine and dine. I like to put on a show. I like to, cook dinner and then, start a fire and then we can wang and bang in front of the fire. You dig what I'm saying? So let's go here. Let's go here, family.
This is a stake, but the stakes couldn't be higher. That's why Byron Donalds, my opponent, has to debate me in January. We got to talk about a lot of things. His support for the H-1B scam that has stolen jobs from Florida workers, his support for AI data centers that will destroy our national environment and jack up our electric bills. And I want to share my vision about how we can make life more affordable for you to live in the greatest state in the country. I'm James Fishback, and I'm running for Florida governor because Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and stake is everything.
All right, so that's his little get down there. He started going after him, letting people know, hey, Donald raised $31.5 million in Florida's governor's race. Post more than $9 million in the third quarter, right? James out here saying Byron Donalds is a slave who was auctioned off for $31 million. Yeah, family. This is a Nabisco. A Nabisco calling Byron Donalds a slave. He only wants to please his corporate masters. I'm running for governor to make Florida a more affordable for working families, students, and seniors. Okay. Shout out to our brother Retro Gemini 99 in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Let's go here, family. Let's go here.
Byron Donalds has been in this race now for 9 months. And as you all know, he is losing in the polls. He is losing to a candidate that you all may know. It's a very firebrand candidate. It's called Undecided. Undecided did a big town hall last week. Very fiery stuff out of Undecided. He's been in the race. He's got $30 million. He hasn't traveled the state 9 months, and he's still losing to Undecided. You know what that tells me? Floridians are hungry. I spent the week here in the Panhandle in Mariana, Jackson County, my home, Madison County, and Floridians want a real fighter. They want a fighter like President Trump, like Governor DeSantis, who's not going to make excuses. I'm sorry. Byron Donalds has absolutely done nothing for our state. I want to take the Elon Musk experiment. I want to dare Byron Donalds to post by this afternoon 5 things he did for Florida last week. What are the 5 things he did for Florida last week? And no, whining on Fox News, writing strongly worded letters, and complaining about Kamala Harris giving a speech in Miami is not count as helping Florida. He has not introduced a single bill to codify a single of President Trump's executive orders. He was not in our state when Hurricane Ian made landfall in his own district. He has made millions of dollars trading stocks in Congress. It was right here in Leon County that he was arrested and charged with selling marijuana. And it was right here in Leon County where he was arrested and charged for bribery. So I'm sorry, Byron Donalds is utterly disqualified. The people of Florida know that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be losing in the polls to undecided, even though he's been in the race now for 9 months. This guy has no excuse. He goes on Fox News, perhaps even more than I do, and does all of this nonsense. But he cannot win in the polls. What that says is Florida is ready for someone who, unlike Byron Donalds, was actually born and raised in Florida. I am a 4th-generation Floridian. My great-grandfather fought in World War I and ran a small hotel in Fort Lauderdale Beach. My grandfather fought in World War II and ran 750 head of cattle out in Okeechobee. My father proudly drove the city bus in Broward County, the same bus that I drove to work for many years. And I'm a proud resident of the state. I grew up in South Florida, and I live here in the Panhandle. I love our state. I love it. And I got to tell you, I was friendly with Byron and his wife. I had dinner with them on August 18th. Just him and his wife and me in Naples at the Capitol Grill.
Notice what he's saying there, family. Notice what he's saying. And salute to our good brother Leonard Day Yuta. Thank you for being here. Smooth talking pervert. I'm assuming that you're talking about the fact that he got with his quote unquote, he got engaged to his wife when she was 17 while he was 27. Yeah, I agree. But notice what he's saying here, family. He is making sure that the people know, hey, I was friendly with Byron Donalds. I had dinner with him and his wife. What is he saying? As a white supremacist, they can be friendly all outdoors to you. They can be loving, they can be caring, but the second they feel that there's blood in the water, they will attack like the sharks that they are. And Byron just didn't understand that. Byron was running around singing that song from Toy Story, "You Got a Friend in Me. You got a friend in me." All while James was already plotting on how to get that shark to attack that blood in the water. Let's continue.
And I walked out of that dinner convinced that he is utterly, utterly unqualified to be governor. There was one moment in particular.
Damn, Byron.
Damn!
I walked out of that dinner with the understanding that he was utterly unqualified to govern. Ha! Byron, you thought you had a friend, Byron. That same friend was just looking for a way to stick a knife in you. He was walking around his house with his wife talking about, we got a new friend, baby. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Let's continue.
I asked them, just as the calamari was coming out, I asked them, well, when are you going to move to Tallahassee? Is that going to be right away or are you going to take your time? And Erica turned to me and said, we're not moving to Tallahassee. The Panhandle is a dump. We're not moving to Tallahassee because the Panhandle is a dump. Don't you dare slander the people of our state. Don't you dare slander the people of Holmes County, Washington County, Walton County, Leon County, Madison County, Jackson County, Lafayette. The list goes on. Anyone who holds contempt for the people of our state should never, never be in the governor's mansion.
Family, now it's time for the meat and potatoes. This is why I will not be endorsing this man and why no foundational Black American should be endorsing this man. Shout out to our sister Patricia A. Jones. Byron don't know America like we know America, and you are 100% correct. No tether knows America in the way we know America, and that's why they find out about America. They mess around, they find out expeditiously. But family, I want to show you why I will not be supporting this person, and neither should anybody who is a foundational Black American. Let's go here. This is the infamous interview where he calls Byron Donald a slave and a tether. However, he goes on to say something that is very, very telling that makes me say hell to the nano on him too. Let's go here.
We have to be able to do politics for Americans. And this is something that we have to tackle. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, that's right. And let's just be completely honest of what Byron Donalds is. Byron Donalds is a tether. He is not an American descendant.
Wait a minute, James. How do you know the term tether?
Because James be listening in the very same way that they all be listening to us. And because they be listening to us, there is no reason why you should be going against us. Don't use our talking points and then say that you're against what we call for. I'm not so easily impressed. Notice that this woman, hold on, let me pull down this comment here. Notice how this woman's broadcast is called Let's Talk Politics, American Freedmen. So this is a show that's targeting foundational Black Americans. I'm not easily impressed because he's using the language of foundational Black Americans when he turns around and then do this.
He is a tether. He is not an American descendant of slaves. So when Byron Donalds cries, like he has over the last couple of weeks, because I call him a slave to AIPAC, a slave to corporate interest, a slave to the pro-immigration lobby that has hurt every race of Americans, but has also hurt Black Americans who disproportionately work in food, hospitality, leisure, and customer service. He is in no position, has no right to be complaining about me calling him a slave when he has absolutely no direct descendant of slavery.
Now notice how this woman here, and I don't know who she is, but notice how she is yes-sirring and yepping, and she's co-signing everything this man is saying.
His family. He's from Panama. He's from Belize. His dad's from Jamaica. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. Here's what I will say. Unequivocally, I do not support reparations in any form. I did not say. Unequivocally, I do not support reparations in any form. What I will say. Unequivocally, I do not support reparations in any form. Here's what I will say. Unequivocally, I do not support reparations in any form. I would not have supported the reparations for Japanese who were interned. I would not have supported reparations for Chinese Americans who were expelled. And I would not have supported reparations and do not support reparations for the descendants of slavery. But here's what I can commit to. I can commit to creating an economic system that works for one group and one group only, and that is American citizens living in the great state of Florida. Consuelo, we have to be very clear about what has happened because of people like Byron Donalds. Last year, he said, quote, I want anyone from anywhere who wants to come here and work and contribute to come. The problem is that when anyone from anywhere comes here to contribute, they are by definition taking a job that would have gone to someone locally who is a citizen, a job in agriculture, a job in hospitality, a job in customer service. And so if you want to do what's right by our working citizens, you have to stand up to the immigration influx. Now, Byron Donalds supports open immigration because it's good to increase their profits by bringing in cheap third world labor from the Caribbean, from all over the world, from Central and South America, because those people will work for $4 an hour and our people will work for $15 or $20 an hour. Byron Donalds said 2 weeks ago at the University of Florida that we need to have the H-1B visa program, which brings in Indians and Chinese to take our jobs because, quote, our kids are not economically viable. He thinks that our kids are not smart enough, but the Indians and the Haitians, they are smarter than us. And so we have to import them to take.
I'm not even going to let this continue any further, family. We got to talk about the pure fact that this man just opened his goddamn mouth on a platform that's supposed to be for foundational Black Americans and said he do not support reparations in any damn form. We got to talk about that. That's why there should be no foundational Black American voting for either one of these Negroes. Byron Donalds, James Fishback, neither one of them are in support of reparations. And I take you back to the brother, the elder who was there, who questioned Byron Donald when they were in that cigar lounge. And he asked about reparations, and Byron Donald said he didn't support reparations. What that elder said, then you don't support Black Americans. The same goes for him. He's talking about saving jobs, but he is not caring about the jobs being saved for Black Americans. He cares about saving jobs for white Americans. That's what he's really saying. And he's interested in using the Black population, the foundational Black Americans in Florida, to help him defend the jobs for white Americans. That is what he's saying. And everything that he just spoke to this woman on her platform, she should have dropped him right there where he said that. There should not have been any further conversations. What do you mean you do not support foundational Black American reparations? I don't give a damn if you supported it for other people at all. This is a debt that's owed to us, and whether you support it or not, it's going to happen. Yes, James, yo bitch ass would have got dropped if it was on my broadcast. Damn all the whataboutisms, damn all the explaining, all of that nonsense, that would have been cut short quickly. Let's be very clear about that. So yeah, I'm not endorsing this man at all. However, I am sitting back watching the show with my popcorn. A B1 salute to our good sister, Faith Speaks Life. Thank you for your Cash App donation, sister, and I appreciate your contribution as always, family. Let's continue. Like I said, we don't even need to continue this because there's nothing he can explain that qualifies him after saying you don't support reparations. You can kiss my ass. The darkest part of my ass. And I'm a lighter brother, so you're going to have to search for the darkest part and pucker the hell up. Shout out to Christian Wright in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. Let's go here. He wanted to double down on the slave rhetoric. Let's go here.
You said that Byron Donalds is a slave to some of these corporate interests. Could you not have made the same point without using such a derogatory term for a Black lawmaker?
Well, look, I think what's derogatory is the fact that Byron Donalds has taken $30 million of corporate money, the vast majority of it, from out of our state to fund his campaign. It's no wonder why he's in the pocket of property developers who want to pave over every little inch of our state for the next strip mall or weed dispensary or liquor store. It's no wonder he supports the H-1B program. I've yet to meet a Floridian, whether it's here in Hillsborough or in Pinellas or my home county of Broward, who's pulled me aside, Holly, and said, would you please support the H-1B program? We want more foreigners to work in our state. That is a position that is forced upon him by his large corporate donors. My message to Byron Donalds is very simple. Give back the $30 million in corporate money. We don't even know really where it came from. We know it's out of state. Give it back so you can actually stand up for American workers. That's the right thing to do.
All right. Now, I would be remiss if I did not give Byron Donalds an opportunity to actually respond to that. So this is what Byron Donalds had to say about this Nabisco calling him a slave.
I'm not going to respond to ignorance.
What? Hold on. The man just called you a slave. The Nabisco of your party just called you a slave. You don't want to respond? Let's run that back.
I'm not going to respond to ignorance. That's my response. My campaign's going very well. We've been in about 50 counties in Florida. We've been very successful in terms of reaching voters. Obviously, having the support of President Trump, Senator Rick Scott, most of the congressional delegation. Our polling numbers, we're leading very big in the polls, and our fundraising apparatus is going quite well. And so, the only response I really do have is that, in politics, when you're in the lead, people try to do anything they can to try to take shots at you. But I'm not going to respond to ignorance. If it's something about policies that are impacting the people of Florida, if it's about the future of our state, we'll talk about that. But ignorant stuff, cheap shots, I have no response for it. I'm not going to respond.
Hey, shout out to Aquarius. She said, coming from ignorance. You talked about responding to ignorance, and you are ignorance in itself. Did he just bat his eyes? Yes, he did, my sister. He absolutely batted his eyes. Hold up, we gonna run it back.
I'm not going to respond to ignorance. That's my response. My campaign's going very well. We've been in about 50 counties in Florida. We've been very successful in terms of reaching voters. Obviously, having the support of President Trump, Senator Rick Scott, most of the congressional delegation. Our polling numbers, we're leading very big in the polls, and our fundraising apparatus is going quite well. And so, the only response I really do have is that, in politics, when you're in the lead, people try to do anything they can to try to take shots at you. But I'm not going to respond to ignorance. If it's something about policies that are impacting the people of Florida, if it's about the future of our state, we'll talk about that. But ignorant stuff, cheap shots, I have no response for it.
Family, he batted his eyes like a female. He batted his eyes like a female. Shout out to our brother Brenner's Brass in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. He said he took the high road. He took the Michelle Obama approach. That's how you know he ain't one of us. We ain't out here taking no high road with no Nabisco trying to disrespect us. It ain't going down. it ain't going down. This man said, I will take that higher road and you take the low road. Family, after he said, when you're winning, you don't have to respond, AF Post put this out. James Fishberg has released internal polling showing that him leading Byron Donalds in Florida Republican gubernatorial race primary by 13 points in the head-to-head matchup, 42-29. Byron, it's not looking too good for you, sir. It's not looking too good for you, sir. You wanted to tap dance. You wanted to be the front person to say, I don't support reparations because my family wouldn't get it. Now you're going against another person who don't support reparations, and you don't have the black vote in order to beat the man. Damn. You know what that means? That means we're out here with a whipping stick on you. Byron, you could have had the black vote. You could have had the black vote, Byron. But you wanted to be the tap dancing bootlick that came out against reparations expeditiously, thinking that you were going to be pushed into office, and your own party put another non-reparationist to run against you. Now you're below a matchup head to head by 13 points. 42-29. Shout out to our brother Trey. He said, you know, it's even more sad when tethers don't want to vote for Byron. Yeah. Because tethers love Nabiscos. Tethers love Nabiscos. He should have known he wasn't getting the tether vote. He should have known that the tethers was going to vote for the Nabisco, because that's who they want to be next to. That's who they came all the way here to be next to. Byron the tether got sucker punched. Absolutely, my sister. He got sucker punched out of nowhere. Now, I thought it was going to be DeSantis's wife who's going to be doing the sucker punching. Oh no, the Republicans sent out somebody totally different to come out of nowhere and say, nut punch, pow, all in the balls. I love it. I love it. I love this for you, Byron. And I love it for all the people watching. Because like I said, he could have had the black vote. But you wanted to be the typical tether Republican. You wanted to be the typical Republican, period. The bootlicker, the person who believes that, you know, nobody should be paying for the sins of the past. My parents wouldn't be qualified to get it. Now look at you. Trailing by 13 points. And not just that, family. Oh, the laughs does not end there. Oh, no, it ain't over yet.
Oh, yes, but we are not done yet.
No. The Nabiscos are coming out against Byron. Yeah, the same people that Byron wanted to get on his side by saying he don't believe in reparations, the same people that he be sitting there capping for, bootlicking for. He was crying over god dang Charlie Kirk. Yeah, they're coming out now calling him all kind of names. This Nabisco said Byron Donalds is a fat, lazy Zionist slob. And James Fishback is an American first Chad who mocks. Family. This is hilarious to me. The people that you wanted to tap dance for, they're letting you know, no, tap dancer. If you want to be a monkey playing the damn drums, you do that in the corner over there. But as a governor, you won't be doing so. Byron. Let's go here, family.
Back to the question of whether or not the Republican Party has issues of race. It seems that the answer is true.
I've been hypercritical about the party on this one because.
Wait, what? Hold a freaking minute. Hold up a minute. All of a sudden now you're hypercritical of the party because of their racist nature? Wait a second. When, sir? When have you been hypercritical of the Republican Party for their racism? All of a sudden you see racism? Now that your party done pushed out their Nabisco front runner for the goddamn gubernatorial race that you're running, you now see racism? Get out of town. Family, I don't know what it is, but I told you 2026 is going to be better than 2025, and we're off to a phenomenal start. Let's continue. Berners Brown says Byron Donalds look like a kid with a beard. That's exactly what he looks like. That's exactly what he looks like. He looks like he got the same syndrome as Emmanuel Lewis had. I forget what that is called, but yeah, that's what he looks like. That's a call for help. That's a call for help, Patricia. Yeah, he ain't gonna be getting no help from this side. Not whatsoever, family. Not whatsoever. I told you this was going to be one of those lies, family. Let's continue.
When you never go and see somebody, the natural inclination is you don't care about that person. And the thing
what the hell does that got to do with racism? What the? Let's start this over.
Back to the question of whether or not the Republican Party has issues of race. It seems that the answer is true.
I've been hypercritical about the party on this one because when you never go and see somebody, the natural inclination is you don't care about that person. And the thing I always tell them is just go sit and listen. And once you have that baseline of communication, that baseline of relationship, then you could talk about your policies and the thing you support, and people will be more receptive to it. If there's one thing I'll change about my party, it's that very fact.
Back to the
family, even when he's experienced racism, he's talking around racism. Nothing he said had anything to do with the Republican having the issue of race. This man quite literally deflected. He tap danced all around the goddamn question. But he's been hypercritical. Yeah, that was a call for help. And you know what? I don't know if we're going to answer that call. Well, I do know. We won't be answering that call. But I don't know who you're going to get to answer that call. But I know that Foundational Black Americans, we're letting everybody know the same thing as we're going to let you know, sir.
Get somebody else to do it.
That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. I feel the way about you the very same way that Monique felt about Charlemagne the fraud. And I say to you the same thing that Monique had to say to Charlemagne the fraud.
Eddie, thank you so much, my sweet baby, for having us.
Why you keep thinking them and not me?
You know what, brother? You're going to hear yourself a lot from me lately. You're going to hear yourself around the world because we have to explain brothers like you. We do. And when we watched that movie, Birth of a Nation, and we saw that man walk his wife into that master's house, we watched him walk his wife in. Then we watched him go back and get him. You're that brother. I thank y'all for
God
your
bless
time,
you.
my babies.
Thank you.
Byron is the man walking his wife into Massa's house and leaving her there. And he's walking away, tap dancing and smiling, thinking he did something good. All right, Byron. Good luck to you over there. Good luck to you over there. Now, let's move forward because we have to talk about Nicaragua. Sorry, not Nicaragua. Venezuela. We got to talk about what happened in Venezuela. However, we can't start in Venezuela because the situation doesn't start in Venezuela. This situation actually starts in Nigeria. Now, family, over Christmas, on Christmas Day, Trump decides to bomb Nigeria with the support of the Nigerian government. And not only did he bomb Nigeria, but he then seized U.S. Nigerian-owned super tankers for suspected oil theft. Where was this tanker supposed to be going back and forth to? You guessed it, Venezuela. Nigerians own several oil rigs over in Venezuela. So the scammers was working with Venezuelans. And I want you to get just a brief synopsis of what's going on. The U.S. Coastal Guard, in a joint operation with the U.S. Navy, has intercepted a Nigerian-owned supertanker, Skipper, following intelligence report linking the vessel to crude oil theft, piracy, and a series of transnational criminal activities spanning multiple jurisdictions. The skipper, a 20-year-old, very large crude carrier, VLCC, with IMO number 9304667, has long operated in West Africa and South American waters, according to the report by Vanguard. The tanker is reportedly owned and managed by a Lagos-based Thomaro, Global Ventures. It's officially registered list Triton Navigation Corp. Scamming. Headquartered in Marshall Islands as the owner. Illegal flag use confirmed by Guyana. Excuse me. At the time of the interception, the tanker was allegedly flying a Guyanese flag. Scamming. Officials from Guyana's Maritime Administration Department confirmed the skipper does not appear in the country's ship registry, describing the vessel's use of the flag as both illegal and deceptive. Scamming. So, and you can read the rest of this if you would like, family. This all started with the Nigerians, and the Nigerians didn't come out really tripping off of it, to be honest with you. So, on the 25th, on Christmas Day, the Nigerians, oh, you know what? Let's wait on that for a second, because after this happened, you had quote unquote President Obanjo come out and make a statement. Now, who's President Obanjo? This man.
Good day to you.
He had to say.
On this day, the 13th of December, I have a message for the U.S. government. I have a message for Piggy, the president. Let me make this absolutely clear that I am horrified, terrified, perplexed for the American people. Is it that bad? Is America broke that it has to seize tanks from the Venezuelan people, from the Nigerian people? America has been reduced to Somalian pirates stealing oil tankers from Venezuela and Nigeria. I am giving the U.S. government 24 hours notice to return the oil tankers. Thank you.
So this person by the name of President Obonjo gave America 24 hours to return the tankers. Now, I want to give a shout out and a B1 salute to this brother who had to make sure President Obanjo understood what the hell was really happening. Let's go here and how this game works.
By now, we all know that America and President Donald Trump has taken not one but two oil tankers from Venezuela. Now, those oil tankers just so happen to have some sort of connection with Nigeria also. Now, we have a Nigerian general.
This is President Obonjo of Laughter Republic. 24 hours has now passed since I made the video addressing the U.S. government. We still have not seized the oil tankers that were stolen from Venezuela and from Nigeria.
Basically, jumping on camera telling us that they're going to need that shit back. Mr. Nigerian general, y'all not getting shit back. I don't know what you don't understand, but America took that shit, and they're going to take some more. I don't know what else to tell you. We are watching gangster TV. We got the biggest gangster in office right now, Donald Trump, and he's not giving nothing back. He don't give a fuck, right? He don't care about Nigeria or Venezuela if it's not obvious by now. He's kicking all the Venezuelans out, kicking all the Nigerians out, because y'all not really trying to play ball correctly. You get what I'm saying? All the scamming and scheming, dipping and diving. We don't like that. We don't like that, right? So you're not getting the tankers back. It's ours now. We took it. Get that shit back in blood. That's what the rappers say, Pooh Shiesty and them. Get it back in blood. Take it back. And we all know that's not going to happen. Y'all got robbed. It is what it is. They took the oil. They took the fucking boat. They sniping Venezuelans with that laser gun. That's a fucking laser. You know that, right? Those aren't bullets hitting them boats in the ocean. That's a laser. So get it back in blood. Y'all not getting the oil back. We got the biggest gangster in the office. It's over. TPS status is ending. It ended for the Venezuelans. They writing something up right now for the Nigerians. Get the fuck out of here. Go back home with no oil. You got to go back home empty-handed. I don't know what else to tell you. But sorry, General. I don't even know how to say his name, so I'm not going to butcher it. Much respect to you, but you're not getting nothing back. Sorry, bro.
Now, family, that response right there was some of the most, that was right there was just one of the most American responses I've heard, and it came from one of us. He said, y'all not getting nothing back. Get it back in blood, damn it. As our sister Aquarius Minded so elegantly put it, never gonna get 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 it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Family, I had to look up who the hell this President Obanjo is. And come to find out, this man is a goddamn comedian. He ain't the president of nothing. He is a comedian whose stick is acting like the president of a country that doesn't exist. President Bonjo is a comedian genius, a comedic genius, they say, who has spearheaded a revolution in the comedy industry. This dude is a goddamn comedian. But at least he got up there and said something. The Nigerians, they didn't give a damn. To be honest with you, the government was working with Trump. Let's go here.
With respect to the oil and what happened yesterday, the Department of Justice requested and was approved for a warrant to seize a vessel because it's a sanctioned shadow vessel known for carrying black market sanctioned oil to the IRGC, which you know is a sanctioned entity. So the president is committed to stopping the illegal flow of drugs into our country. He's also fully committed to effectuating this administration's sanction policy. And that's what you saw and the world saw take place yesterday.
Would he use this seized Venezuelan oil to try to help Americans with affordability here in the United States?
Well, what I can tell you right now, the vessel has been seized, as you know, and the Department of Justice did that in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the Department of War. The vessel is currently undergoing a forfeiture process right now. The United States currently has a full investigative team on the ground on the vessel, and individuals on board the vessel are being interviewed, and any relevant evidence is being seized. With respect to the oil, that's a different issue, as you know, Peter. The vessel will go to a U.S. port, and the United States does intend to seize the oil. However, there is a legal process for the seizure of that oil, and that legal process will be followed.
Desde Venezuela pedimos y exigimos cese el intervencionismo ilegal y brutal del gobierno de Estados Unidos.
Por mantener la lucha, la unidad, el respeto a nuestra soberanía. Somos un país que adoramos la paz, pero que estamos preparados para cualquier momento, cualquier contingencia que nos necesite.
Diciéndole al mundo entero que este país sigue siendo libre, soberano, que no hay imperio que pueda contra nosotros.
Now, family, that was the Venezuelans. They was letting people know, hey, you know, Venezuela is sovereign, and you know, and no matter what they do, they're not going to be able to occupy us and all this other stuff. Okay, no problems. The Nigerians, however, this is what the Nigerians were saying. Hold on, this woman is Nigerian, and she says this.
So President Trump just bombed northern Nigeria, and I see a lot of people from the West, Americans, engaging in a conversation that y'all don't have enough nuance to talk about, and I just want to shed some light. The Nigerian government is not to be trusted about anything that's happening to its citizens, point blank period. This is the same government that will set its own people on fire to heat a plate of rice. The Nigerian government said there's no Christians being killed in Nigeria. Let's even take religion out of it. Do we not remember the NSARS movement? Do we not remember the situation that happened at Lekki Tollgate, where we were watching live stream footage of the Nigerian police shooting and killing young protesters, and the Nigerian government turned around and said, that's not happening? A death toll that was uncounted because the Nigerian government tried to cover it up. Do we not remember that? Do we not remember the Bring Back Our Girls movement? 276 of them kidnapped from a school in Nigeria, overwhelming majority of them being Christian. Mind you, government officials were warned 4 hours in advance, and they didn't send help. And then when it happened, they still didn't send help. That's not some right-wing talking point. That's been a situation since before the current administration was in office, not just the second time, but the first time. I was just in Nigeria, traveling through the East by car. I can tell you from what I saw with my own eyes, Nigeria has a problem. Just from what I saw with my own eyes, let alone everything that I've been hearing from my family back home for the past several years. This has nothing to do with the current administration, and it's actually extending beyond religion, race, tribe. The Nigerian government does not know how to take care of its people. We have a problem. I understand it's confusing because when you see posts that are talking about the violence in Nigeria, you have some Nigerians saying, yeah, it's happening and we need help. The Nigerian government isn't doing anything. And then you have others being like, I never heard anything about this. This is not true. This is a right-wing talking point. The people who are saying they haven't heard anything, I guarantee you they haven't been to the East. They haven't been to a village of any kind in a long time. North, West, East, South, doesn't matter. They probably live in the city. The people who are victims of this situation, of all of the situations of violence occurring in Nigeria that the Nigerian government is not doing anything to assist with, they are not represented on social media. Who even has access to internet? When I was in the East, half of the time I was using my hotspot. There were stretches of times where I couldn't even charge my phone consistently because there wasn't any electricity. You think that they're going to be in TikTok comments talking about some, yeah, this is exactly what's happening. Let me live stream it. Use your common sense. And the people who live in cities, it's not like they're not victims to the Nigerian government as well. On Christmas Eve, not a couple years ago, I'm talking about this year, a couple days ago, Lagos was on fire. Lagos Island was literally on fire. A whole entire building, shops filled with people's businesses, hard work, gone up in flames. The streets were on fire because they were covered in litter. Because guess what? No waste management. And this Nigerian government, the officials are pocketing the money that they should be using to clean up Lagos. Lagos is a hot mess. It took 3 hours before they got help to put those fires out. It's really sad because America obviously has its own selfish reasons for getting involved, but the Nigerian government is not using its resources to help its people. So it's either be robbed by the US or robbed by your own people.
Damn, family. Is this the reason why I had to play that one Nigerian girl who said they should give Nigerian to the white folk? Is this the reason why she felt that way? I find that is incredibly crazy. When we talk about these places, they be sitting here trying to convince us that they're such beautiful places. But when you talk to people who are actually from these quote unquote beautiful places, who aren't trying to make you fantasize about being somewhere that really isn't what they say it is, you speak to somebody who's willing to tell the truth, and it's always the same damn thing. Scamming, scamming, scamming. Either get scammed by the American government or get scammed by your own government. And our good brother Trey put it in the comments a little bit earlier. What's more said, and I believe it's sad, but you might say it might be sad, but what's more sad, and I'm gonna go with sad, is Nigeria got that much oil and yet the country is poor as fuck. Yes. So, yeah. Let's really get into it. Now we can get into Venezuela. Now that we know how Nigerians felt about Nigeria being bombed over Venezuelan boats because of their oil there. Let's go ahead and head over to Venezuela, shall we? Let's head here first.
We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right.
China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil
China
and drugs?
and Russia, well, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to go. In other words, we'll be selling oil, probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of.
All right. So Trump said we're in the oil selling business. So much for all that sovereignty, right? Yeah. So much for all that sovereignty. If you didn't think that this was going to happen after hearing about the situation with the boat, the oil tankers being seized, I don't know if you're paying attention to geopolitics. Because this is the natural next step in my eyes. I saw this coming from a mile away. Let's go here, family, because Trump is being called hypocritical because he's saying the reason why he went after President Maduro, or really the dictator known as Maduro, the reason why he went after him is because he was smuggling drugs and, and all these other things into America. However, I believe El Salvador had somebody smuggling drugs into America and Trump pardoned him. So they're asking him, how is this not hypocritical? And this is his reply. Hold on, family. Can y'all hear that? Put a 1 in the chat because Zavon says there's no sound. I want to make sure that y'all can hear this before we continue. If you can hear it, put a 1 in the chat. If you cannot, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, Reparations Nation can hear it. No. So some of you can hear and some of you can't. All right. For those who can't hear it, try refreshing the screen and see if that works. If that doesn't work, then I will refresh on this side. Let's make sure that it's working. I'm gonna press play, and if you guys still can't hear it, put 2s in the chat and I will refresh the whole dang thing. Oh, that's why y'all can't hear it. My apologies, family. I forgot to switch the damn thing. Let's go.
you said that Maduro was responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are
Well,
different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
Yeah, so family, you know what happened next. Marco Rubio had to come out splaining, and he really didn't do no splaining. He was very serious. And to be honest with you, Marco Rubio, it makes a lot more sense that he wouldn't care because, you know, I believe that that was something he wanted from the jump. However, let's go over here, family.
Is the United States now at war with Venezuela?
There's not a war. I mean, we are at war against drug trafficking organizations. It's not a war against Venezuela. We are enforcing American laws with regards to oil sanctions. We have sanctioned entities. We go to court. We get a warrant. We seize those boats with oil, and that will continue. We would continue to reserve the right to take strikes against drug boats that are bringing drugs towards the United States that are being operated by transnational criminal organizations, including the Cartel de los Sols. Of course, the leader of that cartel is now in U.S. custody and facing U.S. justice in the Southern District of New York, and that's Nicolas Maduro. So I mean, we made a big progress in that regard.
Is the United States now at war?
Family, shout out to Rael, and thank you for being here, family. Much love to you for this comment. Venezuelans can now leave Doral, Florida, and go back to Venezuela. Down south fast. Game over. Absolutely, family. There's no reason for you to say that you're fleeing because of persecution now, is there? Your dictator is gone. You should be able to go back home. Shout out to our brother Reeve. He said, isn't that what he did on January 6th? His supporters stormed the Capitol. No lies told there, buddy. No lies told at all. You do know that China and Russia was controlling the oil over there, and this is one of the reasons why Trump went to stick it up to China. So the United States went over there to take control of the oil. Yeah, I'm not under any disillusions. I do understand that that's why America's there. It's for the oil. God dang it, let's be clear about this. We're not stupid people on this side of the fence. We know exactly why Trump is there. We know why exactly Trump did what he did. And this is why the Democrats are now about to use this to try to point fingers and say, oh, he's a mean, oh, he's acting like a dictator. You shouldn't go be taking out dictators. Now, mind you, family, some of the same people that kept their mouth closed when Obama went and unalived Gaddafi. RIP to the good Gaddafi. But in the very same breath that they chose to keep to themselves, they will say that Trump is a dictator because he went to go do this. We're going to get into that in a second. However, thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. Much love, Nadine. Thank you for being here. Now, I want to go here just so these folks can explain some things. Go ahead.
The U.S. just invaded Venezuela and abducted the president, Nicolas Maduro, and they're bringing him back to the U.S. to face trial on narco-terrorism charges.
Well, the legal news for 2026 is off to quite a start.
So both the left and the right generally agree that Maduro is an illegitimate dictator who oversees a repressive regime. But was it legal for the U.S. to just do this?
No, but also, yes. First, under international law, what the U.S. did was illegal for a variety of reasons. But the problem is that no one really cares, because international law is only as real as it is enforced. And for it to be enforceable, a country would have to hand over its own leaders to international court, which just doesn't happen.
Putin frequently breaks international law, as does Israel's Netanyahu, and numerous U.S. presidents have done it too. And nothing ever happens.
As for U.S. law, only Congress has the authority to declare war. Congress did not authorize the strike against Venezuela.
But there's something called
called Article 2 powers in the Constitution, which state that the U.S. president is the commander-in-chief of the military. These powers have been used by every president in recent history to justify short-lived, specific military strikes. Trump would say that this wasn't a war on Venezuela, so Congress wasn't required.
Whether Article 2 strikes like these are actually legal is hotly contested, and many legal scholars would say they aren't. But presidents just keep doing this with nothing ever happening to them.
Now, maybe the most interesting thing about this whole situation is the president of another country standing trial in U.S. criminal court after being abducted from his home country by the U.S. military. Can that possibly be legal?
Well, the Supreme Court has held that a defendant can stand trial in the U.S. regardless of how they were brought to court, even if they were illegally abducted from another country. And the criminal statutes that Maduro is charged with have specific extraterritorial clauses, meaning they apply to actions done outside the U.S.
The U.S. is basically arguing that Maduro led a deadly campaign of drug and weapon trafficking into the U.S. for a year. Now, the problem here is that leaders of other countries typically have immunity under U.S. law, but Trump would say that Maduro was an illegitimate leader, so this doesn't apply to him.
Meaning, overall, it's entirely possible that a jury of 12 random Americans will soon decide if another country's president is guilty of narco-terrorism.
The U.S. just invaded Venezuela and abducted the president, Nicolas Maduro.
There we have it. You know, every president have used those Article 2 powers, you know, out the Constitution to do some sideline stuff. So Trump using that same thing, you know, isn't really doing too much different. You think? But the Democrats, let them tell it. That's a whole different story. Let's start off with the it's not feasible. It's not feasible. No. That's not how America works. Bernie Sanders. Let's go here, family.
Very much for joining me. Donald Trump has once again shown his contempt for the Constitution and the rule of law. Let's be clear. The President of the United States does not have the right to unilaterally take this country into war.
There's a particular kind of entitlement it takes to believe you can explain Venezuela to Venezuelans. And what's worse is that this so-called analysis often comes from people who claim to oppose appropriation and white savior thinking while doing exactly that. When narratives about Venezuela are formed without Venezuelans in the conversation, reduced to simplistic takes about foreign interference, and then broadcast as education through threads, carousels, or reels that end up whitewashing a narco-authoritarian regime, that isn't activism. It's the appropriation of a pain that isn't yours. Now, here's the reality. There are hundreds of political prisoners, including teenagers, many never properly tried. There are forced disappearances. More than 7 million Venezuelans, that's a quarter of the population, have fled the country, many crossing deadly terrain because staying was worse. Nearly half the population struggles to eat. Children are malnourished. Hospitals barely function. Journalists are silenced. NGOs are criminalized. And families, whole entire families, including mine, forced to flee. Given this reality, using U.S. force to remove a narco regime that has held an entire population hostage for decades isn't interventionism. It's a response to a regional security crisis. Venezuela has become a continental issue, destabilizing neighboring countries and the United States through mass displacement while serving as a safe haven for guerrilla groups, drug and human trafficking networks, and hostile actors like Russia, China, and Iran. Venezuelan sovereignty was lost long ago when the regime effectively handed the country over to these interests. Freeing Venezuela from criminal control is not only a just cause, it serves the stability of the entire hemisphere. And if we're going to move forward in this deeply polarized tribal moment, we have to learn how to hold two opposing truths at the same time. Libertad para Venezuela.
Well, that's what that man had to say to, you know, it's not feasible. The reparations is not feasible. Bernie Sanders. You're appropriating someone else's pain to push y'all nonsensical rhetoric. Okay, it is what it is. A B1 salute to our sister Andrea Jones. Thank you for your Cash App donation, family. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, as well as a B1 salute to our good brother Drew Laston. Thank you for your Cash App donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. Let's continue because we're going to listen to some of these Democrats, including the fake Bernie Sanders. This is what he had to say.
As well as other members of my team, I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change, to the violation of federal international law, and a desire to see that be consistent each and every day.
And what was his response to you in that conversation?
I registered my opposition. I made it clear, and we left it at that. I wanted to, as well as other members of my team.
What was his response to you? Basically nothing. Nothing. I just called to voice my opinion. But let's go here, family. This is what some Democrats were saying in September. Hold on. No, we're not going to go there just yet. All right. That was a little out of order, but we're going to go here, fam. This is what Rachel Maddow had to say.
This is it's a very, very big development in a months-long effort against Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested to hear what the president has to say in his remarks from the White House that are planned for just a little under an hour from now. Ali, I feel like in your heart of hearts, when you think about what the United States just did, I think there are very few Americans right now who have any idea why the United States did this. If this was about drug trafficking, then why did President Trump just pardon the former president of Honduras, who was convicted of sending hundreds of tons of drugs into the United States? If this was about something about the illegitimacy of Maduro's election, well, that's something that the U.S. is decrying any other country policing. We just sanctioned Brazil for having tried to protect itself from a coup by its former president, Jair Bolsonaro. I mean, if it's about gangs, we had the president of El Salvador, who is believed by U.S. law enforcement to be very linked with the notorious gang MS-13, which has caused incredible damage in the hemisphere, including in the United States. He's invited into the Oval Office, and the president says that he's looking forward to sending homegrown Americans to that president's essentially jungle concentration camps. So all of the purported explanations for what's happened here don't stand up to logical scrutiny. The president has never articulated a coherent rationale for having done this. This seems like Marco Rubio's dream, not Donald Trump's dream. So I'll be very interested to hear what the president is able to piece together in terms of an articulable rationale for having done this. That said, he's done it. And so, in the immortal words of General Colin Powell, you break it, you own it. And it's one thing to do that on the other side of the world. It's another thing to do that so close to home here in our hemisphere. I don't know if they have any plan for what to do now that they have invaded, bombed, and removed the president of that country. But I'll be happy to hear an America First rationale for it, whatever it is.
What do you make of this?
What was Donald Trump's rationale? His rationale was keeping the oil out the hands of the Chinese and the Russians. That's the rationale. That is what it's all about. Oil, resources. And that's what he did. Let's be very clear about that. B1 salute to our brother Devon Scott. Thank you for your super chat, your super sticker, Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. These folks acting like they don't know what's going on. Hell, the Pope even spoke up about this. It is with deep concern that I am following the developments in Venezuela. The good of the beloved Venezuelan people must prevail over every other consideration. This must lead to the overcoming of violence and to the pursuit of the path of justice and peace. I pray for all this, and I invite you to pray too, entrusting our prayers to intercession of Our Lady of Coromoto and the Saint Jose. Not Saint Jose Hernandez. Family, when have you heard the Vatican come out? When have you heard the Pope come out and say we're following the deeply disturbing developments in America when it comes down to foundational Black Americans? Don't worry, I'll wait. When have you ever heard the Pope come out and speak up for foundational Black Americans? Not never. Partially because the Vatican was involved in our enslavement. But you got the Pope coming out. Okay. You got these folks doing this, making sure people take the narrative down.
Mr. Trump yesterday said that the United States would now run Venezuela until it decides to do otherwise. I think we should have a name for that. Colonialism. Are we now in favor of colonialism?
We're not in favor of colonialism, and we're not entirely clear yet what President Trump meant by those comments yesterday.
He's pretty clear. He says we're in charge until we decide otherwise.
Sure, but it's for the Americans now and for Venezuela to set out what happens in the coming days. As the Prime Minister said yesterday, we shouldn't make assumptions or guess what might happen next in certain hypothetical scenarios.
He didn't make any assumption. President Trump's been pretty clear. He said, we are going to run Venezuela. We will decide when we can stop running Venezuela and pass on power in his word was, judicious way. It's pretty clear. We must have a view on that, surely.
But we don't know the shape, the timescale, the details of that. And as I say, we don't know yet.
So colonialism is all right as long as it's in the right form.
No, that's not what I said. All I said
Well, it is what you said.
No, it's not what I said. What I said is we don't know the details yet of what's happening in Venezuela. And it would be wrong for government ministers to try to make assumptions or to comment on hypotheticals about the future. We're engaging with our counterparts. Of course we are. Our embassy is working in Venezuela. But we should understand what's going to happen next before we comment. That's what the public would expect of a grown-up professional government to do.
Okay. And this right here, you know what we got to do whenever we bring up another person such as this.
Brain fried, scrambled like eggs in a skillet. Ooh. Thoughts running loose. Ooh. Can't even pin it. Ooh. Opinion spilling. Nonsense infinite. Logic took a vacation. She ain't in it. Ooh. Caught in the fog. Lost in the static. Ideas chaotic. Vibes erratic. Speeches gymnastics. Flips acrobatic. Words land hard, awkward, and tragic. Ooh. Dumber than a box of Crockets. Lost keys, no pockets. Talking loud, no logic. Every thought catastrophic. Dumber than a box of Crockets. Every move out of pocket.
Let's hear what Jasmine Crockpot had to say.
So let me just level set really quickly. Just so y'all know, my staff is looking to see what comments and questions you have so that they can send that over so that I can try to be as responsive as possible. Number one, anything that happens from here on out as it relates to Democrats, I feel confident in saying that universally, we are not taking quote unquote the side, because I absolutely imagine that the Republicans are going to be like, oh, the Democrats love dictators. And it's like, literally we don't. It's like, we not vibing with you, bro. But like, that is not what it is. This is about process. This is about our Constitution. And it is about the precedent that it sets when you start to do things like this, as well as putting American lives in danger. That is what it is about. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of dictators in this world. There's a lot of them. And frankly, I don't look at Trump as like Captain Save-A-Ho. I'm just saying, like, that's not what he does, right? So I think that he made it clear that this was not about the Venezuelan people and about doing something for them. Because mind you, he decided that like the Enemy Aliens Act needed to be enacted and actually revived from the dead, because it's like a 1700 law, right? So that he could actually kick Venezuelans out. So I'm just saying, like, I don't think that this is a guy that has really cared very much about Venezuelans, because he's saying it's such a terrible place, but yeah, we ain't got no space for you. And he's saying that it's so terrible that he had to go in and he had to do this, but we're going to kick people back. Actually, you're making the argument that asylum may have been something that was real, that they actually needed. Like,
no, Jasmine, you sound stupid. Okay. So Jasmine, he kicked him out and then removed the dictator there. So that's not making a claim for asylum or making it a notice, what is it called? Making a case for those asylum seekers. If anything, he kicked the folks out, cool, because they wasn't supposed to be here. And now they can be at peace when they go home. But continue, Jasmine.
Don't mistake for 2 seconds, and he's not even going to try to. I think the Republicans will try to justify this. And so I think that the talking points that they will have will be, this is about the Venezuelan people and freeing them. And this isn't normally what we do in that way. But nevertheless, he has made it clear that this is about oil. Oil. So for all the people that felt like they were voting for somebody who was looking out for them, I'm just saying it's the oil people. I remember the coverage of him having these oil magnates at Mar-a-Lago, $1 million plate fundraiser or something like that. I remember those headlines. I do. I can't tell y'all when it was before the election, but I remember that was a big part of it. And it is clear that some people definitely made out better with their investments than others. And when I say others, I mean the rest of us. Like, clearly I didn't invest in this candidate, but at the end of the day, I actually do feel really bad for people that believed that this man was going to put them first. I do. Now, I know a con when I see one. And so I know what it is, not to mention like his history, but like for people that actually believed and to have this be what they receive is kind of wild. From the Epstein drama to the economy and tearing it apart to getting us into more wars and claiming that you're like the president of peace. So that's my 2 cents. I'm gonna get to y'all's questions because I'm sure you have more exciting things to do as it relates to this Saturday morning. So
now, family, have you noticed that these Democrats have stood with every other group of people besides Americans? When it was China, Trump was talking about tariffs and stuff like that on China, Canada, Mexico. Who was the person out there speaking up for them? It was Jasmine Crockpot. Whenever something has happened, Jasmine has stood on the side of the opposition rather than the president. Now, I don't stand with the president on many things. I stand with him on this getting these illegals up out of here. That's one thing I do stand on. But when it comes to, staying out of it, it's okay to just keep your mouth closed if you don't agree with something, especially when you don't speak up for foundational Black Americans in the same way. You use our plight to benefit everyone else. So am I surprised she made this video? Not at all. Because she's being consistent in her anti-foundational Black Americanness. Just saying. Let's move forward, family. Let's move forward. This is what they were saying in September of 2024.
Just look at what's going on in Venezuela. Maduro, who is what Donald Trump wants to be. He wants to be the kind of guy that doesn't matter whether you win or lose, you get to stay in power. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. And Maduro is staying in power by blowing up the rule of law in Venezuela and co-opting the military for his political purposes. That's what Donald Trump is capable of, and that is not American. That is not American in any shape or form. Just look at what's going on in.
So they was talking against Maduro. As a matter of fact, in 2024, Chuck Schumer, not even 2024, 2020, when Donald Trump was still in his first presidency. This is how he was speaking about the Venezuelan issue. Let's go here, family. We must go here.
He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. There was a big policy there. It flopped. If the policy was working, Juan Guaido wouldn't be in the balcony here. He'd be in Venezuela. He'd be sitting in the president's palace, or at least waging a fight to win. He's here. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began. He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing.
All right, family, that was Chuck Schumer in 2020. Okay? Fast forward to 2025. And this is what Chuck Schumer is now saying.
So what can the Congress do about it is the next question.
Well, the next question is very simple. And that is that we have the War Powers Act. That's a privileged resolution, which means the Republicans can't block it. Tim Kaine and I and Rand Paul are sponsors of it. It's going to come to the floor this week. And if it is voted for, if it's voted positively in both houses, then the president can't do another thing in Venezuela without the okay of Congress. We have to pass it.
So what can the Congress do about it is the next question.
Well, the next question is very simple. And that is that we have the War Powers Act. That's a privileged resolution, which means the Republicans can't block it. Tim Kaine and I and Rand Paul are sponsors of it. It's going to come to the floor this week. And if it is voted for, if it's voted positively in both houses, then the president can't do another thing in Venezuela without the okay of Congress. We have to pass it.
She got your ass.
No, Chuck, you're not going to get away with this. You are not going to be sitting here acting as if Donald Trump did something so horrible in Venezuela, but just 5 short years ago, it's 2026 now, 6 short years ago, this was you.
But his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. There was a big policy there. It flopped. If the policy was working, Juan Guaido wouldn't be in the balcony here. He'd be in Venezuela. He'd be sitting in the president's palace, or at least waging a fight to win. He's here. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began. He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words.
Family, like I said, flip-flop. They're just talking nonsense. They're just pointing fingers because it's that time of year. They want people to think that Trump is just this big old dictator, the big bad boogeyman. And this is their freaking narrative they're pushing. And I want you to understand, am I for what Trump did? Am I against what Trump did? I don't give a damn. I don't. Why? Because that's just the facts. Now we got to go over here to the big-headed, alien-looking woman named Ilhan Omar. And Ilhan Omar has some things to say after she's been ducking and dodging the mainstream media, the lamestream media, for the last few weeks because of the situations happening with the Somalis in Minnesota. She decides to poke her big head out, and she has some things to say about Venezuelan. Let's go.
A lot of the policies that we have put in place has kind of helped lead the devastation in Venezuela. And we've sort of set the stage for where we are arriving today. This particular bullying and the use of sanctions to eventually intervene and make regime change really does not help the people of countries like Venezuela. And it certainly does not help, and it's not in the interest of the United States. A lot of the policies that we have.
And I agree with you 100%, Fold, my sister Aquarius. She should have nothing to say because she's talking about dictatorship and talking about the dictator Trump, forgetting that her father was a dictator as well. That's the whole reason why she's in America. Let's go here.
And make regime change really does not help the people of countries like Venezuela. And it certainly does not help, and it's not in the interest of the United States.
That's rich coming from the daughter of a colonial of a very dangerous regime that was over in Somalia. Yeah, that regime took out 200,000 people, removed them from this planet. So I don't think anybody wants to take your advice on regime changes. I love that you came back from your exile from the internet. You were silent there for a few days. You were very silent after all that fraud was allegedly exposed in Minnesota. I love how this is how you return. But you're not going to take our eyes off of what's happening there. See, we can multitask. We can be excited for Venezuela, and we can also keep pressing for people in your state to see consequences. Let me know your guys' thoughts about this in the comments. She just really, yeah.
Yeah, those Karens that she wanted to be next to, them Nabiscos that she loves so much. Oh, they're out here on her head. They're on that light bulb of a head, and I hope they don't crack it. Family, I want to go here real quick. Let's talk about all the other presidents and the things they've been doing. Let's go here.
Remember this from a few months ago? It was no kings, right? That's what they kept saying. Just so I'm tracking, no kings. That's funny. Obama bombed a country for 7 months without asking Congress. Nobody called him a king. In fact, they called him a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Let me show you how this game actually works. When Obama wanted to kill somebody, he used something called the AUMF. That's a permission slip from 2001. It said he could go after anyone tied to 9/11. Bin Laden, UMF. Al-Zawahiri, AUMF. 142 drone strikes in countries we never declared war on. That's right, AUMF. 3,797 people dead, including our own people. Congress never voted, not once. No kings though, right? But here's where it gets good. In 2011, Obama wanted to take out Gaddafi. There was just one problem. Gaddafi had nothing to do with 9/11. No AUMF, no permission slip. So Obama's lawyers came up with a trick. They said, we're not at war. We're just dropping bombs from the air with no troops on the ground. So it doesn't count as hostilities. That's a real legal argument from the White House in writing. Congress said that it didn't pass the sniff test. Obama did it anyway. For 7 months, Gaddafi ended up dead in a ditch. No impeachment, no hearings, no King's protests. In fact, the New York Times called it humanitarian intervention. Fast forward to now. Trump sent troops into Venezuela, grabbed Maduro, flew him to New York to face drug charges. Just so we're on the same page, he's still alive. Some Democrats who said nothing about Libya, now they're screaming. Chuck Schumer, reckless. Tim Kaine, illegal war. Hakeem Jeffries, unauthorized use of force. Now they remember the Constitution. 14 years later, here's the thing they don't want you to notice. Trump's lawyers use the same playbook, just a different page. Obama said, it's not war because there's no troops on the ground. Trump said, it's not war because we don't recognize him as president. He's just a drug dealer with a flag. That's not new. That's a Noriega precedent from 1990. When Bush invaded Panama to grab Noriega, the court said, if America doesn't recognize you as a real leader, you don't get immunity. Trump's DOJ dusted off that same case, same courthouse, Southern District of New York. So let's be clear about what's happening here. Obama used a loophole called no hostilities. Trump used a loophole called no recognition. Obama killed a head of state and called it peacekeeping. Trump arrested a head of state and called it a drug bust. The Constitution didn't change. The law didn't change. The only thing that changed is the color of the president's party. And that's the whole game. When your guy does it, it's decisive action. When their guy does it, it's King Trump. The rules aren't real. They're just talking points with lawyers attached. No kings, please. They don't hate kings. They just want to pick which one wears the crown. Same loophole, different lawyers. They're betting you're too stupid to notice.
Family, that's why we have the new black media, so that folks won't be running around here too stupid to notice. Yeah, that's the situation there. And let's go here because I want to talk about these protests that are now popping up all over the place for Venezuela. All of a sudden, there are so many people that cares about Venezuela. Let's go here.
Stop bombing Venezuela!
morning, the U.S. launched a massive criminal bombing campaign on Venezuela. This war has nothing to do with drug trafficking. If the U.S. were interested in ending drug trafficking,
family, these are Nabiscos and Tethers out there standing with a dictator. They're calling for the release of a dictator. Let that sink in. Let that sink in for a second. These people are out there saying they stand with the dictator. Free the dictator. Salute to our brother Eddie Foster in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, family. Let's let this continue.
no more.
Stop bombing Venezuela! Stop bombing Venezuela!
Venezuela has never been a source of their drug trade. Here, this war is about oil. This war is about taking control of Venezuela. They have now kidnapped the president of Venezuela. What country has the right to put on trial the president of another? Since when does the Trump administration have?
Oh, Ach, you noticed that, huh? Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a hot second too, my guy. Very astute observation. Let's continue.
The moral, legal, or even political right to put another president on trial.
Donald Trump in the USA! Donald Trump in the USA! Stop bombing Venezuela now! Stop bombing Venezuela now! Biggest.
More Congress leadership between 2014 and really the people who are doing it by 2016. Whenever something happens in the world, especially like
who should be put on trial for the bombing campaign against the Venezuelan people? Who should be put on trial?
America! It's America! It's America, y'all! Come on! It's America!
I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. I'm fucking sick of it, bro.
It's America! Woo!
I'm fucking at the end of my fucking rope, bro. You have tyrants. I want to say so much, but what can you say?
I can't stop it, bro. I can't stop it. Yo, you look at my thing. I'm lucky. I'm lucky. Fuck out of here, bro. Damn, like, fuck you up. We know what we're Trump comes something back.
Of the contemporary era, the multitude of the great crime.
The ice, right?
Donald Trump,
fucking ice, right?
Rubio.
Family, gotta ask, does that seem authentic? Does that seem like more of the same? More of the same. My sister Aquarius, yes, I am emailing you that information right now. I thought I emailed it a couple of days ago, but I'll email this again. Yeah, this doesn't seem organic at all, does it? Let's go to this one.
Justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Free Maduro, free him now! Free Maduro, free him now! Justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Free Maduro, free him now! Free Maduro, free him now! Justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Free Maduro, free him now! Free Maduro, free him now! Justice, you say how?
That's Minneapolis. Let's go here.
Chavez made sure that millions of kids who never had access to education would. He did so by sometimes using the Venezuelan army to seize the property of U.S. companies. He seized the oil and used that money for the Venezuelan oil, nationalized the oil to pay for social services. The quality of life for the poor in Venezuela skyrocketed. And today, the U.S. empire bombed his grave. They want to destroy the memory of the hero, Hugo Chavez. Viva Chavez! Chavez made sure that millions of kids who never had access.
Viva Chavez. Let's go here. Notice all of these people are Nabiscos. Let's go here.
With me, y'all. Hands up, Venezuela! Hands up, Venezuela! Free President Maduro! La lucha sigue! Libertad, socialismo o muerte! Venceremos! with me, y'all. Hands up, Venezuela! Hands up, Venezuela! Free President Maduro! La lucha sigue!
All Nabiscos, fam. Let's go here.
Gentlemen, do you have a message for Donald Trump in what occurred this morning? Message for Donald Trump.
He's a Nazi. He's all in it for the oil. That's it. Oil
Really?
and distraction.
It's just the oil.
No, he's trying to distract from his everything else.
I guess I have a question with, obviously we protest no kings and we don't want a dictator in our nation. Do you think Maduro was a dictator in Venezuela?
Yes, but we don't have the right to go there and tell him what to do. It's in our country.
So basically, let's focus on America first and everybody else can handle their own business.
Protect them a little bit. We don't just go in and invade their country.
Yeah.
That's the order of Congress. Congress needs to have a say-so on this. Can't just go over there and do it.
And saying Trump is a Nazi, I hear it pretty regularly. Do you think he's up there with Hitler?
Yes, I do.
Do you think there's any other world leaders that are up there with Hitler currently?
Putin,
Trump,
Korea,
Hitler, all in the
North
same
Korea,
camp?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All killers.
Gentlemen, do you have a...
All right, that's Nabisco. And look, notice, family, just like out there on the streets, all the Nabiscos are out there protesting. You got the Nabisco women doing their part online by, crying and stuff. Let's go here. Bringing those Nabisco tears.
Americans believe ourselves to be the good guy, and Trump has turned us into the villain.
You get that, family? Americans believe we're supposed to be the good guy, and Trump turned us into the villain. Out of all the presidents we've had before Trump that has done some devilish things, it was Trump that turned us into the villain. Now, I don't like Trump. Trump is Trump. But let's be honest. Trump ain't turned us to no damn villain. America has always been the villain of the world. In the very same way, Black Americans have always known that America is a villain. And we've been the superheroes of the world. Everybody calls on us for that reason, because we've been fighting the villain consistently. And everybody else wanted to be the little sidekick of the villain, and now the villain is turning over onto you guys. But let's be clear, Trump didn't start the villainy. But go ahead, Becky, cry it out.
Venezuela, Lo siento, I am so sorry. Most of us don't support this. It's wrong. Trump's crying over a peace prize he didn't get while waging a new war for the United States, but he ain't the one going and fighting it. So it's going to be
family in the background. She has John Legend Imagine playing. John Legend Imagine is playing in her background. You cannot make this up. It's honestly, whenever I hear that song and In the Arms of the Angel, there's some bullshit going on. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here. Soon as I hear that, I'm like, yep, there's some scamming going on here. Some sort of scamming is going on. Shout out to Aquarius Minder. She said Becky looks Bradish. Love that. Becky looks like Brad.
another generation of troops that don't come home, and if they do, they're fucked up. And I was raised by one. It's about to be Vietnam 2.0. This is wrong. How can you support it? How can you sit there not saying that? Americans believe ourselves.
She said it's about to be Vietnam 2.0. I'm going to show you why that's not going to be the case. We're going to do that a little bit later. However, let's go here to the other Beckys and Karens.
2026, right? 2026. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Trump is happy or proud or something that he captured the president of Venezuela. And I would like to know if there's any countries anywhere in the world that would be willing to capture Donald Trump. because apparently this is an option, and I would really like someone to come capture him. Get him out of our lives, please.
So if you were wondering if Canada is going to stand up to the US against this latest round of attacks against a sovereign country, if you were wondering if Canada was going to do the right thing, if you were wondering if Canada was going to stand on the side of international law, we have our answer. And the answer is no. We stand by the people of Venezuela and their desire to live in a peaceful and democratic society. So no, Canada's not going to do anything. We didn't like that president. We decided he was a dictator. It's funny how the one right across the border from us isn't a dictator, but the one in Venezuela is. And we've decided on behalf of the Venezuelan people that it's totally okay for Trump to go in, to bomb them, to kidnap their president and his wife at gunpoint. I don't know if you've seen the pictures. He's blindfolded and handcuffed.
Well, apparently kidnapping presidents is a thing now. You don't even have to have approval from allies or even your own Congress. Okay. Well, I have one for you. And I have Venmo, PayPal, and Apple Pay. Please, pretty please, with a cherry on top, and I'll even throw some sprinkles in.
The leader of the free world cannot communicate a single coherent thought, and I have to laugh, ha ha ha, otherwise I will cry.
Okay, well, if you're not a bot, which you might be, I don't even care. Do you know what happens when the United States starts?
Now on this one, I'm gonna read this comment here. This comment says, "Girl, I'm Venezuelan, and I can tell you for sure, you don't know what you're talking about. Don't try to put the victim card on us just because you think your empathy is whatever." Now, this is her response to the woman who's actually Venezuelan, telling her she don't know what she's talking about as a crybaby Karen. Let's continue.
Bombing and invading a sovereign country. You say you want the United States to invade your country on the pretense of liberating you from a corrupt government. Yeah, like they did in Iraq, where they completely destroyed the country and stole all their resources, their infrastructure, starved them, raped them, mass murdered them, saying they were freeing the people and fighting terrorism and getting weapons of mass destruction. Do you hear yourself? You've got to be a bot, because this doesn't even make sense. You want the most corrupt and evil government on the planet to help you by bombing innocent people. Okay.
Venezuela is currently in the street celebrating the capture of the president and his wife. And I get that this dude was a bad dude. I get it. But I really don't think they should be celebrating, because the replacement is going to be far fucking worse, and they don't even know it. He's already been set up. And they don't know it.
I don't give a flying fuck what anybody thinks. The day it happens, I am planning a taco party, and you best believe there's going to be videos of me dancing my happy ass off.
He's just going to say that he didn't need congressional approval because the military didn't do shit except for back up the CIA. Watch. Oh, and apparently, if you want to come to the United States, you just need to become the leader of Venezuela?
Can we please, for the love of God, just have a military coup? Like, Pete Hegseth is a fucking joke. Why are we still taking any of this seriously? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you actually doing?
Considering that the U.S. abducted the president of Venezuela and his wife from their beds in the middle of the night, I was wondering if someone from Venezuela could be so kind as to return the favor and do the same. Please.
No, I'm actually not a huge fan of political leaders who claim to be the leaders of a democracy, but then use the legal system to attack and silence political opponents, do violent crackdowns on protesters, jail protest leaders, who want to shut down and control the free media. Like I'm not for that. I don't like that at all. Although it does sound familiar for some reason.
Day 3, and we're kidnapping dictators. I'm so surprised.
Put a finger down if it's 3 days into the new year and your president, though we do not claim him, okay, decides to get involved in a country that he has no business being involved in, conducts a large-scale strike, okay, and kidnaps their president as well as his wife.
Going into another country with enough firepower to take their president and then saying you're going to charge their president with criminal charges in our country is such an insane breach of sovereignty. I'm like so shook this morning.
Nicolas Maduro is a dictator with a huge history of human rights violations, and he illegitimately won the election in his country last year. That doesn't mean that we are able to violate sovereignty of another country with impunity.
We as Americans are absolutely the capital. We are the people in the Hunger Games. We are so out of touch. We are just living here in complete unawareness of what's going on in the rest of the world. The reason I say that, I'm not excluding myself from this. I just want to be clear about that. I'm not passing from a place of judgment, but sincerely just observing. Today, we pretty much took over the country of Venezuela. Yeah, people like me are going to the gym. We go to our workout class. We carry on as normal. And honestly, it wasn't until I was in the sauna hearing everybody's just conversations, going about talking about the most mundane, random shit. Mind you, we literally did not just take over a whole fucking country today. That I realized that, yeah, we are just literally living in complete blissful unawareness. The truth of it is that day-to-day life is just literally carrying on as normal.
What do you mean? I just woke up and we bombed Venezuela and kidnapped their president and his wife. I just woke up, guys. It's the third day of 2026. Can we not?
Yeah, just a quick question. Just so we're all aligned in 2026, we know we're not the good guys, right? We know we're not the ones to be rooting for. Like, we know this is bad, right? And that this is what we do all the time.
These people are telling you that you shouldn't be rooting for Americans. We are not the good guys. I thought it was America first. But go ahead, go off, continue.
We all aligned on that? We are not Team America World Police. Or I guess you could argue we are. But what we basically are is an extension of the British Empire in modern day with 800 military bases around the world so that we can carry out shit like this on countries that can't defend themselves from us. But like, we're aligned now that this is what capitalism is, right? We understand that this is what it is, that it's basically a pyramid scheme with us on top, with us doing this to other countries at all times. Are we cool with statements like this? What about this one? Are we cool with that? I'm just genuinely curious at this point what people think about what we do. Like, are we...
Now, is it cool for the president to go into another country and just take another president? Of course not.
Maduro is the newest person to find out that President Trump means what he says. Kudos to our brave special operators who pulled off a truly impressive operation. I would like to say an illegal operation. Lawyer up.
Family, notice it is all Nabiscos. Nabisco's out protesting. Nabisco's online crying. It's ridiculous. We ain't seen not one black Venezuelan come out and talk about this situation. We just haven't. And it's hilarious to me that everywhere you look, you got another Nabisco going the hell off. Now, earlier in the chat, one of our brothers mentioned about how it's so funny that these folks just have protesters at the drop of a dime. And this person here brings some interesting information.
Riddle me this, Batman. Explain to me how, after Trump goes into Venezuela in the middle of the night, a couple of hours later, in New York, you have an organized march with thousands of people with banners, signs, flags, and the signs are all matching. They've all been printed. They were at the same print press. Who's working overtime? Who's setting this up? Are these guys paid? Like, there is no way that you can get all these people and have all these signs overnight. I'm sorry, and not even a couple of hours. These people were out in the morning. Trump was going to Venezuela at 2 or 3 in the morning. And these people were out like, what, 7, 8, 9? Organized? Bro, who's doing this? This is, I'm sorry, this is not organic. Not one freaking bit is this organic. And they were all over Times Square. Like, look at this. Look at these signs. Perfect. All matching. Listen, if they were handwritten, fine. But they're printed. And they have long banners as well. Look at this. This is great.
Family, nothing happens in a vacuum with white supremacy. So all the folks who acting like they didn't know Trump was going to do this, they freaking knew. They knew. And that's evidence that they knew, because you wouldn't be able to put together such a goddamn protest the very next day within a couple of damn hours. Let's be very clear about that. Let's also be clear that the Venezuelan people aren't feeling the way these Nabiscos are feeling. This Venezuelan man went to a protest and start calling out the people there, asking them, are they Venezuelan? Let's go here.
¿Tú eres venezolano? No, pero soy latinoamericano. ¿No eres venezolano?
No.
¿Un venezolano por ahí? Allá, la que habló.
Llámalo porque hay un venezolano aquí. Hay un venezolano por aquí. Hay un venezolano por aquí. Yo quiero hablar con un venezolano por aquí. ¿Tú eres venezolano? ¿Ah? ¿De qué parte de Venezuela? ¿De Carabobo? ¿Qué parte de Carabobo? No eres venezolano. Hay un venezolano aquí porque tiene la bandera de Venezuela y están apoyando al chavismo, pero no hay un venezolano aquí.
La mujer de Venezuela ya...
¿Hay alguien venezolano? ¿Tú eres venezolana? Una sola persona hablando por todo un país. Estamos en Suiza.
Estamos en Suiza en una protesta en contra del imperialismo con banderas de Venezuela. Y no hay ni un solo venezolano. Qué bendición. Perseguido político, torturado por el régimen de Nicolás Maduro. Torturado por el régimen de Nicolás Maduro. Torturado por el régimen de Nicolás Maduro. No, señor. Quiten esa bandera. Quiten esa bandera ahí. Quiten esa bandera ahí. Quiten esa bandera ahí. Esa bandera mía. Ahora pégueme, pues, pégueme. Torturado por el régimen de Nicolás Maduro. Y vienen aquí, ninguno es venezolano. Ninguno es venezolano. Ninguno es venezolano. Yo sí soy venezolano y levanto la voz para que caiga la dictadura. Todos están pagados. Vienen a trancar aquí en Suiza. Vienen a trancar calles en nombre de Venezuela. Y ni un solo venezolano.
Not one Venezuelan out there protesting. Not one. He went around asking, is anybody Venezuelan? They're holding up Venezuelan flags. He said, take that flag down. So while everybody is running around acting as if we should care, and they're sending out their little flunkies, let's get to their flunkies too. You know what the Democrats do? They love to send out their little shields, their little bootlicks to try to make it seem like it's a black issue. Let's go here.
So the United States of America committed war crimes today by illegally entering a foreign nation and kidnapping a foreign ruler. I'm sure many of you have seen that overnight the Trump administration has bombed and attacked Caracas, the capital city of Venezuela, and has captured Maduro and brought him to New York City. I've seen a slew of Venezuelans praising this and happy that it's happened because rightfully so, Maduro over the past 12 years has been a horrible dictator. Under him, crime, homelessness, food insecurity, all those things have risen exponentially. But the USA just can't enter a foreign country because it wants to. The USA and the president can't just say we're going to war because it wants to. This was not approved by Congress.
But we're buying oil from Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it.
And so we have to ask ourselves, what are the reasons that Donald Trump is doing this currently while his approval ratings are in the toilet and while he is the center of one of the biggest pedophilia and sex traffic rings in the world, why he would distract us once again by going into Venezuela, a foreign nation, attacking it and kidnapping its ruler.
Yeah, what was that? Getting land, oil rights, whatever we had. They took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching, but they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
America and its regime toppling is a form of neo-colonization that is the same rinse, wash, repeat that America has been doing for decades, if not a century. When we look at other countries like Iran, Guatemala, Chile, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cambodia, Libya, just to name a few, we understand that in these regions, America goes in, they destabilize, they take a ruler out, they put in someone they want. It's usually for access to the region, access to commodities, access to goods like oil. And in this case, it's definitely oil.
Let's go Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So,
and for all of you saying it's not oil, the president has been talking about Venezuela's oil production and us buying from them for months now, if not years. And if it's not about oil, why is he saying that we now, America, is going to run Venezuela and American U.S. oil companies are going to fix the infrastructure in Venezuela before they can turn it over to someone that works well with the United States of America? These things are not things that can be taken lightly. The United States of America going into yet another foreign country, toppling its government, causing destabilization, bombing them, causing casualties to civilians and damage to infrastructure, all in the name of democracy to take over commodities and put someone in more favorable to America. Makes your day of the year, and it feels like we've already been through another term of Trump. So the United States of America committed war crime.
All right. So that's what that one, this is one tether. Let's get to another bootlick.
Why is it that black and brown countries are always the testing grounds for America's surprise decision?
What the hell does black people got to do with this? Not nothing, but go ahead.
The U.S. just struck a Venezuelan facility, and Trump said, yeah, that was me. No warning, no Congress, just stupidity, like always. And somehow it's always called law and order whenever they do it or whenever it happens to them. But when black and brown folks protest in the streets, suddenly it's chaos and threats to democracy. Interesting. Let's be clear. Venezuela is a black and indigenous country with a long history of U.S. meddling. So this is not surprising, especially when resources are involved, i.e. oil, power control. It's the same thing, just a different decade. But here's the gag. When America drops bombs without accountability, it's called defense. But when Black nations defend themselves, it's terrorism. This isn't about protecting people. It's about power, control, and oil. So yes, Black folks, we recognize inferior behavior when we see it because we've lived under it. History doesn't repeat itself. It just gets rebranded. Why is it that Black and...
Hold the hell up right now.
We
do not use the plight of Black Americans in order to sit here and call out something for someone else. Yes, we understand colonialism and we tried to teach everyone about it, and nobody gave a damn until the gun was in the hand of a rabbit. Then the rabbit started shooting all the people around him. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Stop putting our plight in with other people who quite literally don't like foundational Black Americans to begin with. Don't care about our plight. Never did. And that's the difference between them and us. In the new Black media, we're standing on business for us. But these folks want to stand on business for everybody else while using us. And yeah, I feel like he LGBTQ as well, sir. Family, I'm not about to sit here and go to hell off for a bunch of folk who quite literally don't give a goddamn. Because guess what? People are understanding and starting to learn that they're wasting their damn tears by being so damn stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean stupid. Putting your energy into their situation when they don't put their energy into ours is incredibly stupid. But let's go here, family. Some people are learning about it. Let them learn.
When I seen that video of Venezuela being bombed, I bust out crying. When I seen the videos of Venezuelans in Miami cheering and hip hip hooray, I got fucking confused. Because I'm just like, wait, huh? What do you mean? Like, why are they happy? Why are the ones that's in America, happy that your own people is being destroyed? Can somebody explain that to me? Because that shit doesn't make any sense. Like, that confused the fuck out of me. How are you cheering on the destruction of your own country? Okay, I can't say it's all immigrants because I've had great friends that are immigrants. But one thing I can say is a lot of immigrants do not give a fuck about their own people. They don't.
Now, here's the thing. While she came to that realization, she asked a very, very interesting question. She said, how can you be cheering on the destruction of your own country? What do you think immigration people who support these illegals have been doing ever since Biden cracked open the door? What do you think these Democrats have been doing in every situation that Trump has been in since he got into office? They've been cheering on the destruction of their own country. And foundational Black Americans are the only ones who have not been doing that. We have been the only people speaking the hell up against it. A B1 salute to our sister Rosemary in the building. Much love to you, my sister, and thank you for being here. And this is what they feel about you people going out there trying to make them victims.
We're bombing Venezuela right now. It is 2:35 a.m. and Pete Kidsborough, fucking cosplay G.I. Joe, is literally bombing Venezuela. You guys didn't stop them when they were bombing boats in the ocean. You didn't stop them when they fucking took a tanker off the coast of Venezuela like a bunch of fucking pirates. You guys didn't say shit when they bombed Nigeria less than 2 weeks ago. What the fuck? are you guys doing? We are the terrorists. We are exporting terror to the rest of the world. What the fuck is it going to take for you people to remove this dementia-ridden patient who needs to be in a fucking padded cell at this point? We're bombing Venezuela right now.
That's how the Venezuelans are running around right there. And the ones that are here, they got something to say to the Nabiscos who keep on trying to make them to be the victims. So let's go here.
Do you know what the difference is between those who are celebrating the downfall of Maduro and those who are condemning it, or at least how it was done? The difference is privilege. Do you understand how unbelievably lucky you have to be so deeply absorbed in the twists and turns of democracy? Do you think that the rest of the world lives like how we live? Of course they don't. They don't have the luxury of talking about what was authorized, what was congressionally approved, and what wasn't. They are not negotiating with the innermost workings of democracy. They are negotiating with survival, with life and death. It isn't that we don't need to have conversations about protecting our democracy. Obviously, we have to protect our democracy, otherwise we don't get to keep it. It is about perspective. It is about knowing when to peel off the lens of privilege and seeing it through the eyes of the rest of the world that doesn't enjoy what we enjoy. The people of Venezuela, the people of Iran, the people of Cuba, they aren't hung up about the first world luxuries of democracy. They are negotiating with life and death. So when their dictators are toppled, they aren't crying over the spilt milkshake of which avenue was taken in order to authorize the decision. They are celebrating something that we have become woefully out of touch with: life, humanity, dignity, liberty. It isn't that the conversation of democracy doesn't need to be had. It's that sometimes you can become so absorbed in your own privilege that you lose perspective. Worse, humanity.
If you are not from Venezuela, you better shut the fuck up. I've seen a lot of videos of gringos trying to explain Venezuela to Venezuelans. You don't even know the difference between Venezuela and Mexico. You can't even point a Venezuelan in a fucking map. You don't know what is to live in starvation. You never saw a family member dying because you didn't have the medication, while the members of the Chavismo are walking with Rolex in their hands. Do you want to know how many people died trying to come to America, going through a jungle? Do you want to know how many women were raped there? We are 8 million of Venezuelans who have left Venezuela. You don't know what is to live like that. You are too freaking busy eating your Starbucks with almond milk, you motherfucker. I have a question for you guys. Where were you when they were killing us? Where were you when they were killing students who didn't have any weapon? You were too freaking busy drinking your Starbucks with oat milk. So you better shut the fuck up and take Venezuela out of your filthy mouth.
Venezuela, Venezuela. People are criticizing Trump for what he did in Venezuela. They say he bombed and kidnapped our president. No. Let me be clear. That man was never our president. He is a dictator. We didn't vote for him. Our elections were stolen. And when we protested, our kids were sent to prison. Minors were tortured. Girls were forced to prostitute themselves in prisons just to get food, to get a piece of bread. And where were all of you then? Where were all of you, liberals? Where were all of you? Where were all of you? You said nothing. You did nothing. But now you suddenly care about international law? I mean, now you all talk about human rights? Maduro didn't lead Venezuela. He kidnapped an entire country. So no, Trump didn't kidnap anyone. No, he did not. He removed our kidnapper. And for that, we're thankful. You can divide politics all you want, but don't tell Venezuelans, do not tell Venezuelans how to feel about being free from a dictatorship.
Now a message to my English-speaking friends, because I'm already seeing people are organizing protests, hands off Venezuela, let's defend Maduro, we love dictators. Do not, for a moment, let your hatred and disdain for Donald Trump, an unsavory character, have you defending the dictator of my country that was destroyed by him and Chavez and their system 20 years ago. We Venezuelans are very, very happy that our dictator has been arrested, removed, and will be put through a trial. It's the first time we're seeing justice in 26 years. Now let's hope that they get the rest of the criminals out of Venezuela, and then we can return home. Now a message to my English.
Family, does that seem like these folks are mad, or does it seem like they're glad? And let's be very honest. Let's act like we know some things. It ain't like they don't love them a good white savior. Stop acting like these Venezuelans, and not just them, but many of these other countries, they love to see the Nabisco come in and take care of their problems. They love to see that until they get over here. Then they want to blame the Nabisco for, their problems. When the fact of the matter is, you didn't have a problem with what the Nabisco was doing while you were in your country, but you only make a claim to what the Nabisco is doing outside of your country because of the fact that you want to play a victim role. This is the same thing that out in Congo, when they begged Trump to come and save the Congo from the war they were having with the Rwandans, and they would give up their gold and minerals. And then once Trump did that, all of a sudden you got people from the Congo talking about America is taking their resources. You offered the resources for the help. You made a bad deal. Let's be very clear about that. And that's the same way all of these folks come into America. They make bad deals where they're from. They call on America for help. They give up their resources. And then they come over here and complain to us about them being taken over, being colonized. I'm going to be very honest with you. And let me read this comment here. Lillian. Venezuelans are going to get a wake-up call. Trump has a history on how he wrote. Okay. There is nothing to celebrate. They're just going to experience a continuation of Western domination. And all right, sister, let me say this. Okay. You could say there's nothing to celebrate. You're not a Venezuelan. The fact that you don't like Donald Trump ain't going to change how they feel about Donald Trump. I keep explaining this. Y'all act like these folks don't love them a Nabisco. They love a Nabisco to come on in and handle their business for them. To be honest with you, I wouldn't give a damn who gets their wake-up call. It ain't got nothing to do with us. Nothing at all. So no Democrat should be coming to the Black community trying to make it our problem, because it isn't. And nobody should be going around trying to make us think that we should be speaking about it ad nauseum, and we shouldn't. But thank you for your comment, and thank you for being here. Family, this is what you're seeing over there. Do you think they give a damn about Donald Trump? Or do you think that they care more about the fact that their dictator is gone? I just got to bring that up, family. Just got to bring that up. Now, I want to end off with this one. I got to go to our FBA sister. Let's go here.
Many Venezuelans do not care that the United States just wants their oil, and that makes a lot of outsiders feel very uncomfortable. For many Venezuelans, this is not just some geopolitical debate. It's literally their survival. When you've lived through years of food and medicine shortages, hyperinflation stealing your wealth and your purchasing power, and year after year seeing more and more of your family have to cross borders in order to survive, motives stop mattering. Outcomes do. You stop asking why help comes and start asking whether life might finally improve. From this perspective, the logic is simple. If someone exploiting our oil still improves our daily life, we'll take that over what we're living now. I don't think that's wrong. And this is the part that outsiders often miss. When they ask, How could you be okay with US imperialism? For many Venezuelans, that question feels backwards. They've already experienced state capture, elite corruption, and resource wealth that never reached them. The truth is that multiple things can be true at once. You can know that the US is acting in its own self interest and also still feel relief that an unbearable situation has. Those feelings aren't contradictory. Relief doesn't mean endorsement, and celebration doesn't mean ignorance or a state of being naive. It simply means that people are responding to immediate harm and not long term theory. And that feeling is valid. At the same time, here's where concern also matters. History shows us that US intervention often brings short term relief at a long term cost. Privatization, foreign contracts, debt, and wealth leaving countries. So the real tension isn't are Venezuelans wrong or right for celebrating, but rather, will that relief come at a price later? Both things can absolutely be true at the same time. Venezuelans are very rational to prioritize their immediate survival. And skepticism about US motives is historically justified. They're just simply operating on two different timelines. People inside Venezuela are thinking in terms of days and months. And people watching from the outside who have the privilege are thinking about decades from now. Neither perspective is stupid. Neither perspective should erase the other. I think the mistake is this turning into a morality test. I don't think this is about cheering empire. I think this is more about people finally being able to have the possibility to breathe, even if that air does not stay clean forever. Many Venezuelans do.
All right. And with that being said, family, I'm going to put it like this. Let me pull this down. I'm going to put it like this. At the end of the day, I don't give a damn about Venezuela. Just like Venezuela don't give a damn about foundational Black Americans. I don't give a damn about anything that's happening outside of foundational Black America. So we are in 2026. The midterm elections are on their way. You have Democrats over here talking about Venezuela. You have Republicans over here infighting and doing their little thing that they're doing. And foundational Black Americans are just sitting here loving every second of it. That's it. That's all. None of this is our business. None of it's our problem. So for all the people who are out there who are trying their hardest to pull us into some business that ain't got nothing to do with us, both of you on the Democrat side and the Republican side, both of you can kiss our asses. That's it. That's all. If you ain't talking to us about our issues, if you're not bringing us tangibles, guess what? You can kiss our ass. If you don't want to sit here and bring us any type of policy, guess what? You can kiss our ass. If you want to come to us and try to talk to us about other groups, guess what? You can kiss our ass. And you're going to see how we treat you in 2026. The same way we treated you in 2025, and 2024, and 2023. Get used to the new normal. Let's be very, very clear. Shout out to you, Lillian, once again for your comment. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Excuse me. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. This FBA sister don't wear no cap for nobody but FBA. And shout out to you, my sister. I'm just predicting their future. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even care to do that. I just don't. Whatever they see from this later on, they're going to see later on. Like I said, we're done putting on the goddamn blazer and going out there trying to teach everybody about white supremacy and colonization. Excuse me. We're done with all of that. So, I just really don't care to predict for them. They should be predicting for themselves. But thank you once again for that comment, my sister. Once again, I can appreciate that. You know, like our sister said, couch looking extremely comfortable again. All these people out here that think that they can make us take on other people's problems, yeah, they're falling by the wayside left and right. And every time they come out and continue to try this nonsense, more and more people are calling them out. So at the end of the day, like I said, if you are a Republican and you're talking about issues that don't pertain to foundational Black Americans, you can kiss my ass and go to the side. And I mean specific issues: reparation, a transformative Black agenda, god dang an anti-freedmen hate crime bill. If you're not talking about any of those things, we don't care. We do not care. To the Democrats, no matter what happens under Trump, you're not going to fearmonger us back to the Democrat plantation. We don't give a damn. We done been through ups, we done been through downs, we done been through all arounds, and we just don't let nobody scare us into doing something that we're not going to do or that we don't care to do. We know about this country because we survived this country and we continue to survive. We're the survivors of all survivors. Just know that. So since you want to be the Superman for every other damn group, let those groups vote for you. Foundational Black Americans, we're sitting on our couches, on our recliners, on our love seats. We are a part of the furniture party. Until you bastards get it together and bring us what we need, we don't give a damn about nobody else. You can talk all you want. It's going in one ear and going out the other. All you bastards are doing is making it more apparent why more of us is getting on the couch party vibes. And guess what? We don't give a flying damn if that hurts your chances into getting into office. So people like Byron Donalds, who wants to run around talking about he don't support reparations, now you're going up against another reparationist? Or excuse me, you're going up against somebody who isn't a reparationist, somebody who don't support reparations, just like you don't support reparations, and you don't have the people, you don't have the votes to get over on him. And he was sent out by your own damn party. Ha! Love that. You love to see it. You got to love it. To Madami out there, oh, your fall is going to be quick and hard. And I can't wait to see it. And to everybody else out there who think that you're going to be able to convince foundational Black Americans to take up your causes, you make sure to take notes and just pay attention. Because if you pay attention, then you'll understand quite clearly we ain't for the shit. But with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here. I'd like to thank all the mods, the members, the Patreons, everybody who's donated either by some super chat, Cash App, PayPal. If you donated by PayPal, I'll give you a shout out in the very next broadcast that I'll be doing later in the week. Much love to each and every one of you. Peace and shalom to everybody. And with that being said, my family, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, fam.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us black people. He's doing everything in the world to make black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us black people going to survive. So fuck everybody. I'm out.